by side with her at Javelina was hilarious. I was like, I am
Corinne. 1.5 steps.
You are Corinne. You are so much longer than I am. It was, yeah. So she also was in the field all day yesterday, and then, waiting for Graham, her husband, Graham Shalvoy, to finish the 100K. She does have the house PR officially, her previous time at Black Canyon 100K.
Amazing, yeah. She's so speedy. Watching her throw down at Javelina this year was really impressive. Like, just in the heat, that was such a hard race. It's funny, before I knew who Krim was, there's a segment in SoCal that I was going after, and I just couldn't get it, and I was like, who is this woman? And Corinne Shalvoy had it, and she still has it. I can't quite tip her off the crown, but now that I've seen her race, I'm like, oh, I don't feel so bad. She's very strong.
Yeah, very, very strong.
Super fun to see Corinne out there and to see her juggling both roles.
Yeah, last year she was in the studio for the 60K with Katie Asmuth, and I was in the field. Right. So Corinne got to throw to Corinne, and it was super
nice,
super fun. So yeah, again, they'll see their crew for the first and only time today at Bumblebee Ranch, about the 20-mile mark. From there, they go through Gloriana Mine, and then they've got some rolling ascent before a fast punchy downhill into Deep Canyon Ranch, where we sit just about 32 miles into the race. So it's a fast 50K, but it is a long 50K in a lot of ways, right? So we're almost a mile long here, and that is, that's racing. I kind of love it, actually. I kind of hate when we artificially engineer races to be a very, very specific distance. Taking that left-hand turn.
There they go. Yeah, it's interesting when you say it's a long 50K, because even though it is this net downhill course, you can see just on the drone shot here as they head into that first little loop, all of these sort of pivots and turns that you're making throughout the race are just little extra wear and tear on the body, little extra you can't quite hit your full stride. They sort of shorten your stride a little bit. You're constantly sort of moving. So it's not super technical, but it's not to say that it's not a difficult course to sort of stretch out. And I think even making moves and passing people is sometimes a little harder when you're kind of in these really flowy zigzag areas. Wow, it looks almost frosty on the ground or something. I'm not sure if that's frost or just the sagebrush in the morning.
I think it's just the sage. But yeah, so
it's beautiful.
Chris is trying to bridge here, and that would put him squarely in this group of 4. He's kind of in no man's land a little bit between these two groups. Again, we had about 12 men kind of established in that front pack, but they are just up here going to hit that gate, and that will bring Chris right back to them. So
that's his strategy.
It should be his strategy. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but that's honestly a great place
for next year. All of you guys, this is the move.
Yeah,
let someone else open the gate.
Stay just off it. Oh yeah, forgot to mention another fast media guy. Skylar was with me in studio until 8 p.m.
Is Skylar running today?
He is running the 50K today. Yeah, and
then he's got to
start coaching track on Monday. So
what a guy, and he's got a young baby.
Yeah,
he's a busy guy.
Here we go. That's that gate we're talking about. Yeah. Famously, Tim Ferrick tried to hurdle it a couple years ago and got stuck on the barbed wire.
It's those polls of do you go over or under? This one I highly recommend through.
Oh, come on. How many men does it take to open the gate?
That took a minute. I feel like that took an extra couple seconds than the 100K.
I volunteer as tribute to be at this gate next year.
Yes, look at that. Chris was thank you very much.
Technically in the race rules, it does say you need to shut the gate behind you, but they're going to leave it open for the 600 runners that are coming down the trail.
The cows are not coming anywhere near this right now. They see all these people. Yesterday when I was out at Antelope Mesa, you could see the cows on the hill, and they had this look of what the heck is going on right now? I'm minding my business, and here comes this absolute horde of runners. So yeah, no dangers, I think, of the cows wandering through just now. But yeah, it does technically say that you are supposed to close it.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, I've been at races in Japan where when the stoplight goes, you're not allowed to cross the road even if cars aren't coming. You have to wait to get the crosswalk signal.
Gosh.
So it's culturally here they got to open the gate. Culturally in Japan, you got to wait for the crosswalk signal. That's
nicer
racing.
than we are. That's just it.
Yeah, that is what it is.
Well, I've done races too in the Lake District in the UK where they have all these gates. I think I counted 25 gates in one race, and you have to close them. The farmers will get very angry. So sometimes that can be a real thing. I mean, I think it's less of a thing here, but sometimes gates can be a huge strategy move.
Yeah,
maybe in that case you do just go over them, Yeah,
I've gotten stuck behind a train in a race before. It's just you can't. There are
unforeseen things.
We always knew that there were unpredictable things that happen when you're racing. It turns out some of that unpredictability is trains and crosswalks and
Trains, planes,
cows and cattle guards. So
yes, and scorpions. They're just like so many hazards, you guys.
yeah. Yeah, someone asking in the chat if we can fully identify the top 4 men. I cannot. I can tell you that Chris is in 4th because the kit is like so distinctive.
Yes.
But I cannot actually tell you who is in that.
The rest of them are in white tops and black shorts. So there we go.
So
but
you
we will get
know.
those splits pretty fast. We're missing our on the ground eyes and ears. I think Billy's still in bed right now. So
yeah, we didn't put a plant in the field this morning, and we definitely should have.
yeah. So until we get that split, we'll just have to admire these guys kind of taking it out boldly, and we'll figure out who they are and whether they can stick it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been yesterday I was grasping for names at one point, and I just started naming every name I could think of. I could do that here. It's not going to be as effective as getting that split at Antelope. And I know that we've got a camera on the ground at Antelope.
Yeah.
It sounded like they're even working on a mic check there, so maybe we'll have audio out at Antelope. But yeah, we are kind of flying blind without someone on the ground. We're not flying blind because we've got this amazing drone
this shot
footage.
is incredible. Look at those layers back there.
But
it's gorgeous.
It's yeah, I got to talk to a few creative teams about kit design and layout here.
Okay, so this is interesting though, because even though Chris closed that gap, it's opened right back up again.
Those men are pushing, particularly the guy that's
Yeah.
moved to the front now. He is making a move.
Guy number one.
Gentleman number 1 out of
And then
thing
we
1,
have
2, and
longer
3.
black shorts, and then guy number 3. We're doing great over here.
This is about how commentary generally goes in races, and I have definitely criticized other commentators for being unable
how do you not know them?
to identify them, but I got nothing this morning.
Patience. This is the fun of the 50K. And I mean, the fact that it's World Trail Majors, the fact that we're going to see more and more competitive fields in the 50K distance, I think it's going to be really fun because we will have more of the world-class talent competing with maybe local crushers who we don't know, or people trying to make a name for themselves. And it is exciting. I love when I don't know somebody. I mean, even yesterday, honestly, I had never heard of Will before, Will Murray, who came in second and just destroyed the field. And that was just fun because you're sort of at Deep Canyon when he came through in second going who is that? And I love that so much. It just means that the sport is growing. We have more and more people coming in at this level of competition. It's to me, it's great. Bring it on. All right, someone says Killian is in second.
No, they're just naming names.
I see.
Yeah. Kipchoge's in third.
All
Killian's
right,
in second.
all right.
Okay,
All
be
right,
nice.
all the
It's
wisecracks,
it's
you
Hillary's
guys.
first day in studio, team. I know that you're joking, but you got to be a little bit nice.
I'm not going to believe anything that anyone says anymore.
You shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't.
I
That I just saw Adam Mary.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I mean, his hair is distinctive.
He's in the pink shoes, so he's in that
top pack there.
in that top pack.
That doesn't surprise me at all. He should be. And I think, is Jeff Colt in the second pack here?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, look at all these guys, man, hot on their heels.
Someone said Jim Walmsley's in the front
Yeah,
group. Jim
okay.
Walmsley
All
was
right,
crewing
now
Cordis
I
and
know.
Abby. He was crewing Cordis, who was crewing Abby.
You're forgiven, right?
Yesterday. So it's all good. Yeah, could Max be up in that front group?
Very easily. I know. Look at the shot. You can see what I mean about the just snake of runners, right? It's just layers of runners as they all head into the double track here. I think I see a couple ladies going by there.
Yep.
That was definitely some ponytails. I appreciate all the help, in the chat. It is nice to get your guys' thoughts on who might actually be racing versus the hypothetical field.
I mean, we got dream fields and we got fields that are happening. So
this is true.
Someone said, why aren't we showing wave starts? I believe we had one wave start this morning.
Yes.
So you're not missing a second wave that we're not showing. I believe that we had one 50K
one big
wave.
Party. Everybody's out there. But, the cool thing is that because of that early road section, the first few miles, I think it self-selects really nicely.
Yep.
And people will settle into their pace. I really didn't see any bottlenecking yesterday, even with all the runners out there. And I think it's just, it's a nice way to make sure that everybody finds their spot. Yeah.
Yeah, to Mercedes. Adam V was someone that we had called out early, and I think he's in a yellow singlet. I don't think he's in that top 3 group, but I think he's in that
Right
chase
behind
pack.
it. Yeah. There was like maybe 8 of them, and then like right behind them another pack. Like, yeah, just a big party.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no Peloton. We just string it out right away. But we will, and I felt bad for our infield team yesterday at Antelope because it was like a pack of 30 men rolled through, and it was like good luck naming anyone type of thing.
Totally.
We'll not be in quite as dire of straits today by any means. The field is big, but it's not quite to that 100K chaos that we experienced.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was like spray and pray when I was taking photos at Antelope Mesa because they were so stacked on top of each other. And at that point, you're like, any of you could get the golden ticket, which is kind of fun, but definitely chaos. I think today I would predict by the time we get to about Bumblebee, we're going to have a pretty good sense of where things stand. And it's such a short race that it's going to be hard to make up a ton of time if you're looking good there, you know?
So it sounds like there is a second wave, but it's in part because we had some buses that didn't get to where they needed to be in time. So it sounds like that second wave start was slightly delayed. So we should also get additional shots coming off of the track as that second wave does start.
Okay. Yeah, we saw the buses this morning when we pulled up to the media tent at Deep Canyon. I was like, why are all these runners here? Aren't they supposed to be starting 50K up the road? But makes sense. And that I think, you know, there's enough runners out there that probably deserves that second wave.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It sounds like we might have audio.
Ooh, exciting. We get beta from the ground. So fun. Someone asked in the chat if Charlie Salami is going to make a guest appearance. You know, he was providing moral support at the finish line for about 8 hours yesterday. So maybe he'll make an appearance today. You never know.
Yeah, someone asked about tickets today. No tickets today.
No.
Just 3 tickets yesterday. Sounds like the
And the
second
World
wave
Trail
was
Majors.
supposed to start at 7:15, but with the delayed bus getting there, they're going to start at 7:30. So have no fear if you had runners in the second wave or are in the second wave, because it does sound like some people in the chat were on that bus or just got off that bus. Yeah, looks like we're going to start that second wave around
They're getting the course
7:30.
preview. Yeah, and someone else is just saying nice conditions. Yeah, no mud, nice and dry, bone dry, in fact. Almost historic levels dry. I think there's been very little precipitation in Arizona this winter. And it's, you know, makes for beautiful racing conditions. It's friendly on the trails. It's nice to see that. So definitely a good start for everybody. Lots of smiles, a couple people waving to the drones, you know, like kind of fun. You can shout out your friends and family as you go by.
Yeah, it was really great yesterday when we were continuing to do race coverage after the women's top 10 had finished, and we had our camera out at Table Mesa, you know, showing people who were going to be finishing in that probably 13, 14, 15, 16 hour time frame as they made their way through that aid station. It was really wonderful to get to kind of bop between there and the finish line as we kept our eyes for people coming in to try to break that 12-hour mark, for example. So it is nice to have cameras going back through the field.
The vibes were great at Table Mesa. I was actually out there till about 10 o'clock last night. So if I believe you that Killian's running, that's why. But it's just like the music was going, and I'm always inspired to see people that are just digging in. They've gotten through a hot day and they're recalibrating, getting back out there. It's like my favorite part of ultras is you get the entire range of people with so many different goals for these events. And yeah, it's exciting. I mean, and for the Black Canyon 50K too, like I wonder how many people this is their first ultra. And I think it's such a beautiful course. It's such a beautiful, like, I don't know, entry into the community of trail running. There's such a great atmosphere here at Black Canyon. Aravaipa does such a good job of putting this race on. It's just like really, really cool. The sport has grown so much. I started running in 2013, running ultras, and I feel like the last 5 years or so is just like, yeah, seeing these big fields, you know, just seeing how many runners are lining up and out here for the day, out here to push themselves is really, really cool.
Yeah, for those runners who did fill out our runner questionnaire and survey, it does seem like we've got a number of folks who have run a marathon who are in the 50K for the first time. They've run 25 miles, but they've never. This will be their first 50K. We had a lot of first-time 100K runners yesterday as well, but it's really a very wide variety as far as we've got people who have done, Cocodona 250 and people who are stepping up to the 50K distance for the very first time.
Yeah. Oh, it's exciting. We're happy to have you guys. Yeah, look at that sunrise. I love this section, like being out at Antelope Mesa as the sun comes up and just like getting that golden light is such a beautiful way to start the day. Like, how can you not have a good day when it looks like this?
Yeah, lots of celebration going on out on course, I hope. And I hope that we've got some of those 100K runners from yesterday who weren't traveling back today out there cheering on friends and family. This is that second wave on the track getting ready to go. Again, a delayed start of the second wave due to
it's a lot of people. I was wondering,
buses.
It looked like a smaller field than the starting list for the first wave. But this is nice. It spaces it out a little bit for the aid stations, especially as volunteers have everyone coming through.
Yeah, and if you are wondering if your runner is in the first wave or the second wave, when you're looking at timing later today and you go to the link that is pinned in the very top of this, when you click on the tracking link and then when you click on your runner in it, for example, it will then tell you what wave they were in as they get things going. So I just clicked on Chris Lieferman, for example, wave 2. So that will cue you into those cutoffs as your runner tries to make it from the track right there all the way to where we're sitting.
All the way to us. Come right this way. We have a bird's eye view of the final stretch coming into the finish line.
Yeah, we'll literally get to see them sprint past us and behind us. It's going to be
This is great. If you see our heads just like whipping around,
yeah.
I want a sprint finish. Let's get it happening.
Oh, I think we're going to get a sprint finish.
We might, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have an Eli Hemming winning by, almost 30 minutes in the 60K last year.
Yes.
I think we're going to have a much tighter race.
It's gonna be fast. There's a few of those guys that are in it to win it. And too, I think it's a little hard to pass on some of those last sections with that kind of steep drop into the final chute. So it might be that someone takes that final stretch as an opportunity to fly by. All right, there they go. Last of our 50K runners starting out.
It sounds like we have Jamil.
I like
Jamil, we got your audio.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
How you doing? I'm great. It's awesome to be on course this morning, and really excited to see all these 50K runners rip.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Jamil's audio in my ear. Anyway. Where is Jamil on course? Okay, so the voice you heard briefly was Jamil Curry. We're going to try to get his audio back up. We're doing some mic checks out there. He is at Antelope, the very first aid station, again, 7.7 miles into this race. So he'll be able to give us a sense of what's going on out there when our lead men and women come ripping through.
Yeah.
And
much
not that long.
Jamil. We're excited for the beta.
Yeah, we need the beta, Jamil.
Jamil is gone. I know. We'll get him back.
Yeah, we had Jamil.
State of the state.
For a second.
That was like the quickest cameo ever.
I know.
Hi and bye.
Yeah, that was unintentional.
Okay, look at this view. Shout out to the drone operators this morning. They are on point. This is just a gorgeous, gorgeous second wave start. We got a little bit more light for these runners. You really get to take in all those different mesas and just the layers. I can't get over it. Sorry if I'm exclaiming over the view all day, especially this morning, but the light is so nice. It's like always my favorite thing. I'm not a morning runner. I don't know if you are, Corinne. I kind of feel like you're not a super morning runner because there's a lot of times when we'll be talking and it's like, mid-morning by the time we're going for a run. But I definitely don't get up early enough to see the sunrise, or I don't run early enough to see the sunrise a lot of days. So in a race setting, I do always appreciate, like whether you're starting in the dark by headlamp or you're just like up early and you get that magical sunrise. To me, it's sort of this little gift, like getting to see things differently than I normally do on my everyday midday training runs.
People are realizing that Jamil was technically on the start list for today. So yes, Jamil is a DNS. He is still recovering from the 730 mile Chipotle challenge. So.
Yeah. He was walking fairly normally yesterday. I feel like that was a great step forward considering the blisters on his feet and just the state of his feet by the end of that thing. So
yeah. So wave 2
fueled by burritos, Jamil will be reporting from the field instead.
Yeah, and then you've got Wave 2 coming out off the track around the backside of the high school, out onto this little bit of single track before they hit the road through town, and then that dirt road out to the cattle fence, and away they will go. Yeah, someone asked in the chat, was Hans Troyer DNS yesterday? Yes, he was. Unfortunately, he
had a flu or something.
Yeah, we got word on Friday that he was under the weather, and then I got a text super early in the morning on Saturday saying that he had a fever and was vomiting, so would not be starting. I'm hoping that means we get to see him at Canyons in April, still hunting that golden ticket. Oh, Laura Whitfield, thank you so much. That makes total sense. One of those men in that top 3 is likely Brian Whitfield. We know that he is a phenomenal
red shoes
50K runner, and we did have red shoes in that front group.
Yeah.
So I wonder if those are those new Solomons, those bright red Solomons.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
The Super Glides or whatever. Those would be a great shoe for today. So
They
again,
make them super fast.
that you're right. We can identify one runner in our
we
top
got 1
3.
out of 4.
Thank you.
If we include
Thank
the
you,
4.
the team at home, keeping
Yes.
us honest. Great time to give a shout out to our sponsors. Again, the race weekend is presented by Hoka, but it could not be done without the folks at Goo, Gorewear, Canaria Sunscreen, which I'm not saying right, Squirrel's Nut Butter. It's a good crew making this whole thing happen. I do think I might have Jamil in my ear again.
I think we've got him back.
Maybe? No.
We did.
I heard noise.
I'm back.
Jamil, people are worried about
Missed
you.
We're still here. We made it. I just had to put my hood up a little bit because it's a little chilly with the breeze, for me at least.
Good for the runners, though.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna warm up though, so it's beautiful out.
Yeah, gorgeous start to the morning.
What's our ETA, Jamil, for our first runners to make it to you at 7 miles into the race?
I think it's somewhere around 45 minutes in, so I think in about 10 minutes we'll probably get them inside of the drone prior to that. It's one of my favorite drone shots from the whole event too, as they run across that dirt road with the Bradshaws behind them, kind of overlooking the edge of Antelope Mesa. It's truly incredible, so can't wait to see that. And it's just so exciting to have a competitive 50K field that has some depth to it. I think the change from 60 to 50K is really appealing to people, and just stoked to see what kind of times we're going to see throw down today. And I think this event will continue to grow and to, it could surprisingly become, I think, one of the faster and more competitive 50Ks in the country in the next few years.
I mean, it times out well for a spring campaign too.
It does,
you could very easily do this and then double back to Chuckanut, for example, in a little over a month's time. So you could have a really cool spring campaign of fast 50Ks.
Well, and I think a lot of people, as you were saying, I think earlier, they want to be here for the 100K. They want to witness it. And it is striking that balance between, I want to be out there and watch these incredible performances, but I still got to take care of myself so I can show up to the start line on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that changes that dynamic. Does that mean that our viewing party at Deep Canyon Ranch becomes extra exciting, where they can sit under a big tent, watch the big screen, get to experience parts of that 100K while still keeping themselves ready to go for the 50K?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Viewing experience.
Unfortunately, there's... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the viewing experience is so much fun here. Like yesterday, even at the halfway mark, just being able to sit here and watch it and have it all unfold. Like if you are in the chat, if you're watching this and you're still here, come out to the finish and come hang out and make this a party.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, there's just a few crewing spots, so you can't overextend yourself too much rushing around to places.
This is a great spot too because there's so much parking. It's just like this enormous space. So yeah, I just love it. This was definitely my favorite spot. There's pizza yesterday. I don't know if there's pizza today.
Oh yeah, Freak Brothers.
Yeah.
Another great Aravite
Shout out to
staple.
our local partners here, keeping us caffeinated and pizzaed up. But yeah, it's just that's what makes it such a fun event too, is it's whether you're running, whether you're recovering from running, just being able to be out here and cheer runners in. It's the next best thing to running is just being part of the community and cheering other people in as they accomplish these big goals. So I love it so much. I never get tired of a finish line.
Yeah, Jamil, what we can tell you from what we saw in that drone footage is that we actually think that one of the runners in that top group was Brian Whitfield, but we had 3 guys all in white tops and black shorts, which is not helpful to anyone, at the front of the race being chased by Chris Myers, and then kind of another chase pack just behind them of about 5 or 6 guys. So you should be getting probably 12 men through quite rapidly as they hit Antelope.
I'll do my best. I haven't seen any of the start line pictures come across WhatsApp yet this morning, so maybe one of the 2 of those will pop in before they come and we can get some identification. I do have some incredible images from Howie here at Antelope and his dog, though. I don't know if you can see those on screen, but it's just magic out here.
Oh, little Mishka moments. Wow, beautiful.
That's
Gorgeous.
the next cover of Ultra Runner Mag, I think.
Yeah.
Jamil.
There you go. Just we need like a pets edition.
Yeah, totally. We're all here for the pets. That's awesome. What's your
We're getting some
someone's asking
cloud
in the
cover
chat,
this
Jamil.
morning. We're getting some cloud cover this morning, actually, which is interesting. We'll see if that kind of holds off throughout the day.
Do you have any hot picks for the win for the race today? I don't know if you've had a chance to go through the field in depth, but it's going to be a fun race.
It's so tough. I mean, I kind of rooting for Adam V, Air Viper Racing Team. I really am excited to see what he can do out here on this course. He's so fast. He's been on, 100K World Team. So, rooting for him a little bit, but there's just so many great guys to root for that it's really tough.
Yeah.
And then, women's field, Allison Baca is hard to bet against on this course.
Yeah, so true. She was looking ready to go this morning when we saw her at the start, and she was definitely, I think, leading the women's race out for sure.
Yeah, and I think Adam V, from what I could tell, Jamil got off the track well as far as like making it through safely and kind of getting into that lead group. So I don't know if he's in that top 3 group, but he's definitely part of that top 12 group that we're all pretty tight together. Nice. Is this the lead men on our drone shot right now?
1 mile out.
It sounds like we're getting word that maybe they're 1 mile out, and it looks like Brian Whitfield, white top, gray shorts,
red shoes.
That's
the helpful part.
Is in the lead with Jeshrin Small. That's what that is. That is Adidas Terex on the left-hand side. Nice. Jeshrin Small running shoulder to shoulder with Brian Whitfield. Those 2 boys know each other pretty darn well, too. So that's actually a great duo pushing at the front.
Yeah, they probably know each other's strengths and weaknesses, which will make for an interesting race later if they do stick together for a bit. But fun to see them getting some early miles in.
Wherever you want me.
Yeah, top 2 men are flying.
These guys
they really are. Like
they're rolling right now.
Yeah, look at the camera guy trying to keep up with them there. That's a feat.
Wow.
They've created quite a gap, haven't they?
They have. That third guy's gotten shucked out of that group a little bit, but he's not that far back. But they are pushing the pace early, and again, that right-hand runner is Brian Whitfield. On his left shoulder is Jeshrin Small. Mega talented athlete. Had a great run at Transvolcania last year. Had a hard day at OCC. Unfortunately, has run really well at the Canyons 50K. Actually duked it out with Hayden Hawks two years ago at Canyons, and we were like, who is this guy? And then that year he was top American at OCC. So he is a mega talent. I think we're going to see him step up a little bit in distance periodically, which I'm really excited about. I would love to see him race a CCC. I think would be a super strong 80K athlete as well. But yeah, there we go. Your top 2 men separating themselves from the field about a mile out, it sounds like, from Antelope.
Exciting.
Wow, they are rolling.
Yeah, there's a huge gap. I'm surprised because it is such a deep men's field. That's an interesting move. We'll really have to see how it plays out and whether they can hang on to that lead. But they're not afraid to take it out fast, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was wondering kind of where, again, early 50K is a little bit challenging because one of their issues is that they just we don't know where their fitness is.
Do you think they would have gone that fast anyway?
It looks like it's snowing now.
I'm sure it helps.
There we go.
Yeah, the chatter we're hearing a little bit is talking kind of about how people pushing the pace early might have impacted the 100K yesterday. And I would agree with that chatter that we're hearing in our ears is that, when you had people like Craig Hunt and Mary Denholm pushing the pace early, it did definitely push the fields to absolutely insane course record performances. Man, I love this. These two dudes are just absolutely.
They look very cruisy though for going that fast. Like they
look comfy,
very comfortable. Yeah. No, it's really, really cool to see. I mean, yeah, to your point about the pace yesterday, again, though, it's so hard to like not go with someone that goes out fast. Like you don't want to lose anybody because in these races they're so competitive. You might never see them again. And so it is such a fine line between running your own race and knowing your comfort zone. We saw people overheating yesterday really early, like at Bumblebee when it wasn't that, for me as a spectator, it didn't feel
All right,
that
we got
hot
them in
out
sight
yet.
here in Antelope.
Oh, amazing. There they are. Just about coming into the aid station. Stride for stride.
Jamil will want to know their frazzle meter.
What's up, Jamil?
Hey, morning. Brian said hi to me. That's no frazzle.
That's the benchmark.
Joshua is doing a quick water fill up. Yep. Brian's gone.
Interesting.
It's a calculated decision. Seth stopped there yesterday and got water.
Ah.
So just to point that out.
All right,
Most
that
of
worked
them,
out for him.
Coming in. Adam's in third, straight
Nice.
through. So those three are pretty close. They've opened up a slight gap. Looks like we got Chris Myers coming up next in the Brooks kit, leading up a group of three here.
And we should get some data as these guys cross the tracking mat there, which
All
would
right.
be great.
Eric Langstrom
Nice.
and 2101 there is the third runner in this pack.
2101.
Chris Leiferman. Leiferman.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And 1947 is our next runner here.
Kyle Fox. All right. Yeah, again, like a
And
mix
then
of
it's
names
kind
that we
of
know
breaking up
and-
a little bit here. There's definitely not as big of a pack as that 100K.
Jeff Colt.
Let's go, Jeff. Attaboy.
Coming out of
Jeff's
the
doing a
Carbo
little bit of
like-
a water fill up.
Looked like some kind of white powder puffing out. I think he might have done a little electrolyte or some sort of nutrition top off with his water there.
And then I think
was that
that's
bib?
Wade Hall next. 1880, I believe.
Yeah, Wade Hall. That's what we have too.
We haven't seen Adam yet, right?
No, Adam V came in. Oh, not Adam Mary. No,
He
Is
was-
that him right
this
there?
is
Adam
Adam
V
Mary.
There we go.
was in third.
Yeah.
Let's go, Vancouver!
No, that's not Adam.
Vancouver? Did I hear Canada?
Yep, that's Matt Luongo.
Wow, this drone shot of Brian Whitfield
Oh,
and
this is
Gesturin is so
beautiful.
good. And then Adam V of Aravaipa in third position there. Super fast guy out of Colorado.
Brian Whitfield, if you recall, a few years back, I forget which year, was leading the whole pack through Bumblebee, I believe. Or actually, even beyond that, I think more towards Black Canyon City, he was leading the charge on the 100K.
So he's no stranger to this course and to being out in front.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow, what a gorgeous morning out there.
So that's close to your top 10 men. I'm still waiting for the live timing to update completely. But yeah, the top two were through in 44:09.
Yeah, and we're not
And here
seeing.
comes
So
our next few.
you thought you saw 2101, right?
We got
as one of your guys
Moises,
through?
and we've got
Oh,
Max
nice.
also coming through here.
Okay.
And Devin Sharps, Aravaipa Racing Team, local to Phoenix. Let's go, Devin.
That's only the road race.
We got Chris Johnson. He comments he thought this was a road race. He's in for a little bit of a surprise. And then I see Adam Mary bopping up the trail next here.
Yeah.
So you got some heavy hitters, kind of in that like 10th to 15th
Let's go,
position. It
Adam.
does seem like the Matt mixed Chris Leiferman, just so that we know when we're kind of updating our top 10 that Chris
And we
Leiferman
got
was in
Mr.
that kind
Brett
of top
Hornig.
7 group.
Dude, I know what it feels
Brett
like.
Hornig.
Eli, it sucks now.
Are you on their pace?
Brett Hornig, I believe, was 3rd last year. He had a great race. We'll see with this
go,
field
Bryce Brooks.
what his day looks like, but he's definitely going out with intention.
Yeah, they were asking Brett if he was on the 100K pace from yesterday and how that was feeling.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so waiting for the timing map to update. But again, Brian Whitfield left the aid station in first, followed by Jeshurun and Small, who stopped to fill water. Adam V ran straight through. Chris Myers, Eric Lagerstrom, Chris Leiferman, who's not showing up in the live timing, but definitely was in that group. Kyle Fox, Jeff Colt, Wade Hall, and Matt Luongo, I think would be the top 10 men through there. Fan favorite from the chat, Max was probably just outside the top 10.
Yeah, 11 or 12. But yeah, I mean, so close, like just a couple minutes separating, first and 12th. So it's really anyone's game still, and will be interesting to see if the guys in the front can hang on.
I can give you our timers. That's or I can get that, right? Yeah, just go to live. That's the best way to monitor it.
Allison Baca.
There she is.
Here comes Allison doing a quick stop here.
Nice, good, smart.
But she's definitely out front, so we'll see what the gap is. 7:49 right now. See where second place is at. And she's out, crossing the road here.
And again, those for people using the live timing system, Chris Leiferman's bib did not read there, so you got to bump every single man from like 7 down 1 spot. Okay, so Max, that you're all cheering for, is in 12th position right now.
All right, second woman through wearing a cowgill hat. I am not
Cowgill
sure
in the
who
chat,
that is.
help us out. Oh, I bet I can figure this out for us, though. I've heard rumor of a very fast cowgill.
I didn't
that's
catch
a
her
pretty-
bib, unfortunately.
Pretty close to Allison, so they're definitely,
Yeah, it was just
Lot
about
of
a minute
hills.
back of Allison heading down that trail.
I was told that there's a cowgill gal who's probably got an Olympic trials qualifying time in the 10K, who's doing some trail stuff. So I think we got a
All
speedy
right, looks
demon
like
in there.
our next two women coming through together. Looks like 1917 and 1987, I believe.
and that was Caroline Alcorta in second place. It looks like, according to our tracker.
Yeah, I just got a text in all caps from Clara from Cowgill saying Caroline Alcorta. So
There
know
you go.
her name, Caroline Alcorta,
Yeah.
currently sitting in second.
This is gonna be a race. This is fun.
I think this might be her first 50K. Clara.
Must find out everything about her.
Yeah, ran for UNC in Villanova, used to run for ASICS.
Oh wow. Okay. Speedy,
Was second at the Y East Trail Fest 28K this past year. So
Okay.
has done a little bit of trail.
but probably stepping up in distance.
Caroline
it sounds like.
Alcorta.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Yep, used to run for ASICS on the road and track, ran for UNC in Villanova.
And we have our fifth woman coming up now.
And we do have the live tracking link pinned to the top of the chat for you guys that are just joining us. You can click the link and you'll see the splits and bib numbers and all that info
That
as
was
runners cross
Kristen
these
Schindler
timing routes.
in fifth.
Oh, interesting. Okay, great.
Great.
Yep.
She ran a great marathon just earlier this winter, so she's definitely bringing some good fitness in here. Okay, not Carolyn's first 50K. She won the 50K at Sun Mountain in 2023. Y East 28K last year was like a national Golden Trail event where she was second. She's run some races in South America, but is pretty new in general to trail racing.
Okay. But has some good results. And Sun Mountain, that's a beautiful race.
We love it.
So we had
Yes.
Jennifer Schmidt and Imogene Ainsworth was third and fourth.
Oh, Imogene was on
Got
my list.
2062 coming in
Yeah.
sixth. 1866 here in seventh.
So 2062 is Robin Lesh, which we were talking about.
Yeah, young gun,
Yeah.
super strong.
Yeah, Corinne
athlete.
Chalvoy coming through here in
There
about
she
eighth.
is.
Oh, also Carolyn is a full-time nurse, so we're just adding things to her resume.
Time on feet. She's got it all.
Seth Ruling yesterday, also a nurse.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, doing it for our RNs out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got quite a few nurses.
There's some jobs that lend themselves to like a good training balance, but I just feel like nursing, you get so many steps in during the day. You know, like, you're on your feet all the time.
It's a hard job.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can set up a good schedule, but it is a hard job.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful shot. The ladies are moving well. Not sure exactly where that is in the field. It looks like it might be a couple women in, but yeah, everyone's just cruising. I think it must be really fun to get through Antelope Mesa and then just like enjoy that gorgeous single track. As Corinne was saying earlier, you get your airplane arms out. I mean, maybe not right now, but you can think about your airplane arms and just like, yeah, sail down some of these roller coaster trails.
We just had Kennedy Roofner come through in 10th for the women's division.
Awesome. Super strong athlete out of Bellingham, Washington. Imogene, I was trying to pull up some data on them because their name was super familiar, was second at the Silver Rush 50 mile to Mary Denholm this past July. So
That's
definitely, and
stout.
won the 25 miler at Quad Rock last year. So I was like, this name has come up on some things. So we've got some hitters, like kind of in that
Well, named
5 through
after
8 position.
Potentially the infamous race in Telluride.
Yeah, I mean, is Colorado based? It's checking out on
Yeah.
this end.
Yeah, if your name is Imogene, I mean, you've got to be a solid runner. It's just by default.
Totally.
Yeah, has definitely run the Imogene pass run at
Yeah.
least once.
Absolutely.
We got a swap kit coming through in 11th.
Oh, I bet that's Maddie. I bet that's Maddie Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
And 1644 right behind her.
Jessica Burke.
Tony with the Sony out there in his red jacket. Hi, Tony.
I don't know what I'm doing. Say boss.
They're saying hi to you on the live chat. You have anything to say to Corinne Malcolm this morning?
Hi, Corinne. I hope you're having a great time in the booth because I'm having a great time out here. Weather's beautiful again. Skylar's coming soon, your co-host. Excited to see him in a second.
Yay.
Hope you're having a great day. I'll see you in maybe an hour or two. That's all I got.
Perfect.
Oh, someone's sitting in the bathroom. A little early morning.
Yeah, we got some Mercedes in the chat helping us. Imogene lives in Salida, but she's British, so she's accidentally named after the pass.
Interesting. Maybe she moved there because of the pass.
Yeah, it drew her there.
We just had a few more women come through. Didn't get IDs on them all, but we will fill you in once they pop up on the live tracker. We're kind of, I think, through the top 15 now.
All right,
Yeah.
we can do another little recap here for you guys. For our men's race, we had Justin Small and Brian Whitfield come through together in 44.09 at Antelope Mesa, followed by Adam V. I'm not going to even try the last name. Chris Myers. And they were just like less than a minute behind. And then Eric Lagerstrom, also less than a minute behind the leaders there. Kyle Fox, Jeff Colton, 7th, Wade Hall in 8th,
All right.
Matt Luongo in 9th, and then Moises.
Chris.
Sorry.
We're missing one
we're missing
runner
Chris, that's right. I keep
in the
forgetting
men's
that.
top 10 whose
Okay, yeah.
bib did not register. So
Yeah, good call.
got to move everyone in the top 10 down a spot, probably starting around 6th or
Around
so.
6th place, yeah. Okay. But
got
yeah,
a
no,
Skylar
really.
Hall signing.
Go, Skylar. Awesome. Fan favorite. But yeah, men's race is so tight. It's all separated by just a couple minutes, like maybe 3.5 minutes between 1 through 10. Just like looking really fun, really fast. Anyone's game right now.
Yeah, I'd say 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 10
minutes,
seconds
yeah.
separating the top 10 men.
Solid.
Let's go.
Yeah, and then on the women's side, we have Allison Baca, who has led the race from the start. She's also sort of one of the fantasy free trail fan faves for this race and a really strong runner. Came through in 49:42 at Antelope Mesa. And then hot on her heels was Caroline Alcorta, who was wearing a cowgirl hat, just someone who apparently is one to watch for.
That's Charlie Haney coming
Oh,
through.
amazing.
Thank you.
And then we had Jennifer Schmidt and Imogen Ainsworth right behind her, coming through together, 51:03. Again, just like 30 seconds or less separating these runners, some of them coming through together. Like it's so close at the beginning of the race here. And then we had Kristen Schindler in 5th place, Lacey Bourgeois in 6th place. Robin Lesh was 7th at 52:58. Melody Gilbert, 53:04. Corinne Shalboy, who again was on her feet yesterday, interviewing people all day at the finish line, doing double duty. She's running in 9th right now, 53:16, super strong runner. And then in 10th place, we have Kennedy Rufner from Washington, and she's 29 years old, coming back from a bunch of injuries and foot stuff. So, great to see her racing. And she was in 54:19, so that's about just over 4 minutes separating 1st and 10th place for the women. So very close.
Yeah, and the Fast Media Boys race is on with Jeff Colt sitting in the top 10 and Brett sitting just outside the top 10 and 14th. So.
Oh, that's fun. We could have our whole like separate alternates like podium.
Oh, it's a whole.
Oh,
it's
and
a
Corinne
whole thing.
Shalboy would be in 3rd place then. So.
Yep, ahead of Skylar.
Yeah.
But the battle is on.
Uh-huh.
You got AJW in there. You got Chris Warden in there. So.
Luke Webster is another media guy who was out there yesterday. There's just a bunch of media that have all jumped in today, and super fun.
Yeah, so at the front of the race, we did see Brian Whitfield leave the aid station ahead of Joshua, and I imagine that gap got closed down pretty quickly. They're being pursued by Adam V. Josh and Brian ran together in college at Western, know each other super well. A great duo to be pushing at the front of this race. But yeah, I imagine that will be quite tight, and then we'll get our next split downhill from there, very literally downhill from there. And while we wait for them to get to the next place for us to see, we are going to throw to a quick commercial break.
Not every runner runs in the rain. Not every runner runs in sub-freezing temperatures. Not every runner runs 100 miles at a time. Not every runner seeks out the most challenging environments in the world to test their athletic resolve. Not every runner finds joy in the struggle. But for those who do, we see you. We see you on those days when you could just take the day off or log a few miles on the treadmill instead of braving the gusting wind and snow. We see you, and we're here for it. That's why we create and test the absolute best technical running apparel in the world. Gear that keeps you dry, staves off the wind, keeps you warm. Gear that keeps you comfortable in the most uncomfortable conditions. So go ahead, step out the door, seek out those challenges, and just keep running. Or where? For whatever's ahead.
We weren't trying to create a salve for anti-chafe. We knew that hydrating the skin with natural ingredients was key. We created a salve that healed damaged skin and also happened to be slippery and provide protection to reduce friction and chafing.
They call you crazy for the 4 a.m. starts, for the endless miles, for pushing your body to the brink. They might call you crazy, but that just spurs you on. Go further with Enduro 3, the ultra-performance GPS smartwatch from Garmin.
Alrighty, we are back live. I believe we were looking at Hidden Treasure. Is that where our camera set up?
Yeah, that looks like the hidden treasure spot because they come across the road there from the other side and then straight through. Yesterday it was a pirate theme. It was really fun. They were playing like Pirates of the Caribbean music, and they had like "Ye shall not cross here" with a bunch of skull and crossbones leading in.
I love
really
it. There's
cute.
a good
Love
boy.
a good theme.
There's a good boy or a good girl there behind that aid station table.
Very good. Look at the tail.
Yeah. Oh, that is an excited
We're
good
just
boy.
here for the pets, really.
Oh, to be an aid station dog is to be a good boy.
Yes.
Yep. So we just saw our runners before we went to commercial break coming through that Antelope Mesa aid station, 7.7 miles into their day, ripping through there well under the hour mark, incredibly fast. I think we predicted them to come through there around 45 minutes. They were there at 44:09 and change, so right on time. They're now making their way downhill on a very, very, very fast section of course. It's about 5 miles or so between where we just were and where we are currently looking at. Again, this is Hidden Treasure Aid Station. 13 miles into the race. And we've got predictive times, so I could tell you that. They're predicted to be there in about 1:14 elapsed or so. So in about 8 minutes, we should be seeing our lead men make their way into Hidden Treasure.
It's just interesting because, of course, this is the first year that we've gone to the 50K distance. So I do wonder if people will just like push a little bit harder right from the start. I know historically we've seen that the 100K often has faster splits to Deep Canyon, but I think today that's going to change. And I'm really interested to see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, I mean, they're estimating that Brian Whitfield's going to average 5:50 mile pace on this next section.
Wow.
And I would say that that's probably right. So
Flying.
I think that we're going to see our men, and we do know that Jesherin is right there with him, we believe still. So we should see those guys flying into this aid station in the next 6 to 8 minutes. Incredibly, incredibly fast runners. Yeah, Run Steep Get High in the chat saying we're really excited to see, how much faster some of these guys might be able to push at the front of this race, given that they're only in air quotes, running
a
50K versus
when did that
the
become
100K.
The only?
Yeah, just a
sport
50K.
is crazy.
I do think that with the 50K distance here, we're going to hopefully see more and more people do their first ever 50K at this race weekend. We mentioned Chuck and Nut earlier when talking to Jamil. It's been kind of a staple for people doing their first ever 50K, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. This could be that as well, I think, for the Arizona area, kind of the intercontinental area.
Yeah. And there's something about like 50K versus 60K. Like I know it's potato when you're out there to some extent, but especially for your first race, that feels significant,
I feel so seen in the chat.
Oh
David Lamb just said we almost just lost Corinne when this dog appeared.
It's very true. You're just like, and pivot.
Yeah, I don't care about running as much as I care about dogs.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Both of our phone screensavers are our dogs.
Yeah,
That's all we
obviously.
do.
I'm a millennial white girl. Of course my screensaver is my dog.
With your avocado toast.
Yeah, I'm not basic, but I'm not that far off either.
No, you are nothing. You are not basic.
I am,
A complicated creature.
We can talk more about this off air. But yeah, we are waiting again for our lead runners to make their way into the Hidden Treasure aid station. I wonder if it feels like a hidden treasure when you get there.
Yeah, I think a little bit. Like you kind of pop out, like, being out there as media, you can see the runners from quite a distance winding their way down the super flowy section of trail. and then it sort of spits you out all of a sudden at this road crossing that you can see on the screen there. And then you kind of go up this like a little bit of an incline, which probably feels like a giant hill after that big downhill, as you kind of hit back on the single track there. But it is like a little bit of a pause, sort of a reset, I guess, for people as you've been just flowing down this trail and in a groove. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people stop here for aid, especially since most people blew through the first aid station, at least in the top like 20, 30.
Yeah, Jeshrin and Jeff Colt, I think, were the two men in the top 10 that stopped at that aid station to fill a bottle.
Yeah.
So
which is probably smart.
It's a strategy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Seth actually stop at that aid station yesterday. Worked out okay for him. It is really hard, though. You hit it just early enough where you're like, man, I'm probably fine to go 5 miles downhill, but the heat creeps up on you a little bit here. The lead men should honestly be getting into Deep Canyon Ranch, the finish line, before it gets truly hot today. And again, while the ambient air temperatures are not that high, I think the high yesterday was about 74 degrees with some breeze. There's no shade. There's not a lick of shade on this course unless you're laying in a ditch under a sage bush.
And it's so dry. I do feel like the dust, kind of the taste in the mouth, like you need a bit more water. Like I do feel like it's important for people to be hydrating. And with the wind, sometimes it's sneaky. Like you don't realize that you are actually working harder than your sweat might indicate. So yeah, and there's no water on this course anywhere to be found. It's very dry out there, so all the more reason to stay hydrated. And it's just time will tell how all the strategies play out. But yeah, it's nice right now. It's a little cool in here, but
yeah, it's a little chilly in studio. I'm wrapped up in a sleeping bag from medical.
I'm wondering how long that's going to last. Will she stay in the sleeping bag all day?
I bet I'm in the sleeping bag until we do interviews. But yep. So again, we do expect our lead men to be in here in just a couple more minutes, which is terribly exciting. But again, leading at the front of the men's race, giving you again that update. If you're just joining us, I know it's early for some of you all on a Sunday morning. Oh, there they are. We got that long shot, and it looks like our top three men are all together. So that's going to be Brian Whitfield, Jeshrin Small, and Adam V, our speedy Aravaipa athlete out of Colorado in that top 3 group. We got Adams in studio. It's super
so many
confusing.
Adams everywhere.
This was like yesterday. I came into studio and Chris and AJW kept talking to Corinne Shalfoy, and they'd be like, Corinne, and I would like jump up, and they were not talking to me. So again, there's 3 men making their way to this aid station: Jeshrin Small, Brian Whitfield, Adam V. Not far behind them should be Chris Myers, Eric Lagerstrom, the other Chris, whose name I don't remember anymore, Leafier.
Yeah, Chris Leafstrom or something like that, Millie. Pull that up.
Kyle Fox, Jeff Colt, Chris Lieferman, Wade Hall, Matt Luongo should be making their way as the top 10 men in there. We know that
Canada.
Max is in that just outside the top 10. Moy just outside the top 10. Adam Mary, Brett Hornig just outside the top 10. So you've got a really strong pack that goes, well into the teens here.
Looks
so
like
don't fret.
Some of Jeff Colt's family in the chat just celebrating the return of his hamstrings and return to form, and that's always great to see, especially at the start of the year. We want everyone healthy and out there feeling good and racing hard.
Yeah, it's been a long road back, but good to see him healthy. So again, white shirt, gray shorts, red shoes. That's Brian Whitfield. White hat, grayish pack, black longer shorts. That's Jeshrin Small. This feels really minute. And then just behind them is Adam V, Aravaipa's own.
I love the differentiators right now. I feel like you have to have a whole side of like expertise in the fashion choices of the day.
I get really good at remembering who was wearing purple shorts or whatever. So
totally.
Yeah, Josh is in those half tights. So when you said that, one of the black tights is a little bit longer.
Yes,
he's wearing a pair of half tights.
There we go.
If only I had known.
Half tights. Yeah.
Pockets, no limited chafing. It's a good plan for a lot of people. But
although we have squirrel's nut butter, so
as a sponsor, cannot forget. So yeah, sitting right now at 1:13 elapsed. They are going to be coming in right on time to this aid station. Again, that predictive time has them cruising 550 miles average on this section.
No big deal. I do that all the time. Every day.
Totally.
When being chased only.
Sustained for 32 miles.
Or seconds. I thought you were going to say 32 seconds.
For me, it's more like sustained for 32 seconds.
Yeah.
I could do some VO2
That
max
was a great
intervals.
stride. I'll do one of those. Thank you.
Yeah, but just behind them, we were talking a big game about this top 3, but just behind them in that same shot, we did have Chris Myers in that bright kind of pink.
Yeah.
Brooks kit was
Hard to
right
miss.
there as well.
So yeah, we were just about to see these guys coming through the first aid station, and just looking at our women's race, Alison Baca is due at Hidden Treasure at 7:23, so 10 minutes from now or less. So, we'll see our top 3 guys here, but then the women will not be far behind. Which
Yeah,
is
and
awesome.
we imagine that she's being pursued by the nicest nurse in the world from Seattle, Washington, former ASICS athlete, Carolyn.
But very fierce.
Should be just behind her.
Fiercest, nicest nurse. Yeah, it's like a tongue twister.
Okay, they're coming to that road crossing, and then they'll be bopping in this aid station. So these men, again, Jeshen's already got his bottle out. He's ready to go, ready to fill that up there. And a lot of these guys, too, they're carrying oftentimes like an empty third soft flask that has their preferred drink mix in it, so they can go right to the water and fill it up. We saw Jeff Colt do that at that last aid station.
We saw the powder flying out of his bottle.
It looks like Brian Whitfield's going to run right through this aid as well.
He's still got water in the handholds, it looks like. Like, they look pretty
They
full.
look pretty full. Looks like he's 75 minutes in with full handhelds.
Huh. Well, take that as you will, And it looks like, according to just the live tracker, their pace is about 6 minutes, just under a 5:54 mile an hour average pace. So, I mean, they are moving fast. He definitely needs to be drinking water.
Yeah, so Jess did take time there. He stopped. He filled up. And again, what that did, though, is that it caused a little bit of separation. And so now here's the thing. Does Brian try to make a move right now in order to try to create some more separation, to try to break that elastic? It wouldn't be a bad strategy to kind of attack through there. So guess who is on Chris Myers' butt?
Yeah.
Eric Lagerstrom.
Yeah, there you go.
That is a great place for Eric to be. Second ever 50K, running his first 50K back in the fall. Sticking with Chris Myers is a very, very smart move for Eric Lagerstrom.
Yeah, he looks like he's pacing it well. He's comfortable, but he's happy to tuck in there and just like hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, they are absolutely ripping. Yeah, I've given up on pronouncing Adam's last name.
No, it's Adam V.
You got Adam V and
Sorry
Adam
to
M.
chat.
That's just the way that's gonna roll. We'll let him say his name when he makes it here for a finish line interview.
Yeah. But yeah, look at those guys. They are so close together, but some of them have stopped for water, others haven't. So I do think it's going to be interesting to see down the road in a little bit how some of these choices play out and whether these paces are sustainable all the way to Deep Canyon.
Yeah, Josh is still working to close this gap that opened up from stopping to fill up water back at that aid station, but he's got them within sight. The elastic is not yet broken. Also, Jesh climbs really, really well, too. So I do think that as they hit some of these rollers, he's going to be able to turn it over and pull that group back together a little bit. Yeah, we got lots of fans of that Triathlon Life, or TTL, in the chat as well. That is Eric Lagerstrom and Paula Finley's YouTube channel and triathlon group. Again, Eric is a very talented athlete. His wife, even more talented.
Very talented.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing
Big fan.
Canadian
Girl crush.
triathlete, 70.3 triathlon athlete. Has helped to crew and support Heather Jackson at Western States. So we got some trail enthusiasts coming over from other sports, and we'd love to see it.
Do you think Heather led the charge? Like, it's interesting. There's a little bit of a movement from the tri world.
I mean, you also have Eli Hemming and Seth Ruling, who are
Very
former
true.
triathletes as well.
Yeah.
So I do think that we have some good. I mean, if you're an endurance athlete, this is like I think you
in
get
your
that draw,
wheelhouse.
right? You've been doing this for a long, long time. When I was on the elite panel, when I was having the men, to kind of talk about, what they were going to do when things got hard, how they were going to, dig deep, what their expectations were for the weekend. I was like, Eric, while you haven't done a lot of ultra racing and a lot of trail racing, you've done a lot of endurance racing.
You're
for
mentally there.
years and years and years.
You're locked in.
You'd know what's going on. So.
Also, like, training for one sport versus training for 3 sports.
Yeah, we got Paula
Much
in the
easier.
chat. Yeah, Paula, I did say you're more talented. I'm not even that biased. We are waiting for you to make your trail debut, though. No pressure.
Yes, would love to see it.
Yeah, let's see if we've got further updates on our live splits from Hidden Treasure. These aid stations are kind of out there, folks, so sometimes it takes a second but it does look like officially through. So although it does look like now Adam V's tracker didn't work at Hidden Treasure.
Funny. But Chris showed up.
But Chris showed up. So we do know right now. So if you're looking at the live tracker, now you got to add one spot because Adam V's chip didn't read at Hidden Treasure. So you got Brian Whitfield and Adam V through there in 1:14 and change, along with Jeshrin Small. He stopped to fill a bottle, lost a little bit of time. About 30 seconds back from them, you've got Chris Myers and Eric Lagerstrom together coming into aid. Only less than 30 seconds behind them, you've got Chris Lieferman, who's, if you'll remember, bib did not register at the last aid station, so we're adding him back in. Wade Hall in 6th, just 7 seconds back from him. Kyle Fox, another 9 seconds back. And then Jeff Colt rounding out that 9th position, technically, in 1:16 and change. So sitting in 9th, but literally less than 2 minutes back from the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fast. I don't think we've even begun to see people make moves yet. I think everyone's pretty settled in right now. They're just sort of feeling it out, deciding when they're going to make that push. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see that gap between the second pack and the front pack close as everybody decides that they're ready to push.
Yeah, and it looks like 2.5 minutes back, we've got our official 10th place male through Hidden Treasure. Matt Luongo is through as well. So again, Adam V's bib 1911 did not read at Hidden Treasure, but we do know that he came in with Brian Whitfield and Jeshrin Small and is out in that lead group that you are seeing on your screen right now. He's currently sitting in second position, and Jeshrin has regained contact with that group. Sitting just outside the top 10, we should have Moy, we should have Max, we should have Chris Johnson and Adam Mary. Waiting for an update on our fast media boy, Brett Hornig. But those will be those next bibs to register there. And then just a couple minutes behind them,
is Allison.
Or with them is Allison
presumably,
Baca.
Unless Caroline Cotter, we will see.
Yeah, kind of curious how Caroline will run that downhill section. It might feel a lot more natural for Allison. Mm-hmm. Allison, I think, actually is a very, very talented downhill runner. Just like in general, that is one of her strengths. So I'm wondering if any sort of gap got opened up there between
that'll be interesting to see that
Antelope
split.
and Hidden Treasure.
Because that was so close. That was like 40 seconds between first and second for the last aid station split. So we'll see if that gap has changed at all.
That's Brett Hornig.
There we go. No tracksuit in sight.
Brett, are those what do you got on your feet? Are those Nordas?
They look like it, don't they?
What are we running in, Brett?
Looking happy. Shout out to the live stream.
Racing into fitness.
Yeah, there you go.
New dad as well.
Yeah.
This last year, so racing his way back into some fitness here. That's Moy coming in. One of the Boulder boys.
It looks like he's working.
Yeah, trying to make good on Boulder boy Seth's performance yesterday, taking that commanding win, course record performance in the 100K. Yeah, also just blitzing right to that aid station, no stop.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Very little stopping. Easy lift for the aid station volunteers, but there's a lot more runners to come, so it's going to get busy soon. All right, someone said in the chat they think Brett's wearing Nordas. Interesting.
Yeah, I bet they're the 005s is my guess.
Yeah.
That would track.
Yeah.
1806 was that bib.
Nobody's stopping. A lot of people were hoping that Brett would be wearing the sweatsuit. I think it was a little gross after yesterday. He was sort of a human sauna in there, so.
He was telling us he was cool, calm, and collected.
That's his party line, yes.
And he's got ice. He's got ice in his veins.
Hey. I like I always love the dress shirts, the little button ups.
Yeah, I think they look sporty.
Shout out to our classy gentleman going by.
Yeah, and then we're waiting for Allison Baca, who should be one of our next runners into that aid station, followed in hot pursuit by Carolyn Alcorta, a new name for many of you. But that is because she's a little bit of a track stud.
Yeah.
That's taken some time playing with the trail a little bit, formerly sponsored by ASICS, came dangerously close to an Olympic trials qualifying time in the 10K last summer.
That's tough.
Mega leg speed, but really excited to see her here in what is her second 50K.
I just love that too, like seeing the sport grow, seeing so many athletes come over from different disciplines and bring that background and that like racing mentality, and like I think it just elevates trail running. We're seeing so much of that every single year right now. We're seeing, like even yesterday in the 100K, like what was it, 9 or 10 of the top times. Oh, here we have the first woman in, Allison Baca. Yeah, there we go.
Rolling.
Yeah, Drew Darby following her with the cam. He's been working hard this weekend.
We got Adam V's bib maybe manually updated in there, so that's great. So we do
Awesome.
have an accurate top 10 picture now.
Less
for,
math.
Yep, for those of you people we missed when we saw Brett Hornig come through, just ahead of Brett Hornig in 11th, Adam Mary, Devin Sharps in 12th, Max in 13th, Brett Hornig 14th, Moy 15th. And then we just saw Allison Baca come through, likely sitting in about 20th or so overall. That's splitting there in, as you said, 123.
Yes. Yeah.
The
There we
tracker's
go.
working.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do love that. Wow. Amazing. All right, we got another female coming through.
That's Carolyn.
That's Carolyn, yeah.
Yep, that cowgirl
The
hat.
cowgirl hat. That's right.
And again, she's, 30 seconds maybe back?
So interesting, because we were talking about Allison and maybe her increasing her gap on that downhill section, but it looks like Carolyn stuck with her.
Yeah,
And,
she's crushing.
Is holding that line. Staying within kind of range, but also running her own race, but very comfortable and very close. Like, Allison definitely can't take her foot off the gas at all. We should have, I think, a couple more of the ladies coming through in a minute here too. They were not far behind.
That's Luke Webster in the yellow shirt and bucket hat.
Yeah, more media coming through, fast media.
Brett's got to be careful.
Yeah, I know.
Luke might be coming for him.
Coming for him.
I got Cowgill back channel chats going on. It's really great.
Do you? Amazing. I love the support. That crew was fun at the finish line yesterday at Emory. They were just loud and proud, cheering everybody.
Yeah,
in.
they had a lot of friends, a lot of friends and
successes,
athletes running. A lot of success too with Joe getting that kind of one of their fearless leaders in a lot of ways. Getting that golden ticket. He runs their Wednesday workout for them. Man, the men are striding out on this section.
Look at those red shoes go.
Yeah, so again, that's Brian Whitfield at the front. You've got Adam V in the middle there and Jeshrin bringing up that third position, but ostensibly running as a pack.
Those guys look so smooth. It was interesting to see Jeshrin make up that very small gap when he stopped for water. Seemed to have no trouble closing that again. Definitely, you can tell that he wants to stay in that front pack and stay with these guys. But yeah, honestly, not the players that I might have expected to see at the very front here, and really kind of fun to see this race unfold and to see these guys pushing it like this.
We just got a new angle. Our drone pilots are crushing it.
I know, this shot is just gorgeous.
But it does, and it also shows you how wiggly this trail is. You brought it up earlier where it kind of bobs and weaves, and there are moments because you are crossing all of these kind of all these draws, these kind of water runoffs, and so you'll see someone in front of you, and then you'll realize that you've got to go a quarter mile to the right before you come back to that same spot. Basically, the way the trail wiggles through these sections. So staying in the groove, being the marble in the groove and getting to just flow in a little bit of a pack like this, they each are giving themselves enough space in a lot of ways where they're not going to trip on anything. They've got a good line of sight to that next person. They can stay opening it up. Jeshrin's got to make sure that if Adam V gives any extra daylight to Brian Whitfield, that he's there ready to make a move, but they are keeping it really steady in the in-between, and this is a good amount of spacing when it comes to just being able to see good line of sight.
This is gorgeous. Like that last drone shot. Ah, nice. Yeah. The last drone shot just showed how beautiful the course is and how rolly. Like there's just little kind of rollers that they're going through, and even though it's net negative and they are cruising downhill, they're just having to pick their feet up all the time and constantly be aware of the terrain. And you can't get complacent on a course like this. Even with single track, I often find you get that camber to the sides of the trail. You're definitely kind of playing off the terrain a lot here, and especially when these guys are going so fast. Like if you trip and fall, that could totally derail your day. And we did see that yesterday. Tara Dower had blood on her knees very early on in the race.
Well, I knew that she had fallen, but then I heard that finish line interview and she's like, I fell 4 or 5 times in the first 30K. And I was like, what
Tara?
are you doing?
How? There was definitely some blood at the finish line. Not a lot. I think Tara had most of it, but
yeah, though it was surprisingly limited to one arm and one butt cheek. So she did a good job keeping it out of the cactus and keeping it a little bit more put together. Yeah, let us know in the chat who you are cheering for, where you're cheering from. I got a really sweet DM from a woman cheering on her sister who's running.
Nice.
We can give her a shout out while we're here.
We had Imogen Ainsworth, Jennifer Schmidt, and Kristen Schindler all come through the aid station.
What is their time back? Only 3 minutes, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Very, very close together. Yeah, and they're all separated by under a minute from each other. And then, yeah, not too far off of Allison and Caroline.
Imogen and Jennifer are still together.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, basically. So
Yes.
that's cool to see. Like, they're definitely running as a little group in there, and certainly close enough to the front of the pack still that they are serious contenders. And then we should see the rest of our top 10 females coming through momentarily. There we go.
There's
Speaking
Robin.
of, yeah.
Robin Lesh.
So that would have been Lacey Bourgeois, I'm assuming, and then Robin Lesh coming through.
Yeah, Robin
and
was
then
the first
Melody
woman that we
Gilbert, should be the next one.
Yeah,
and then
Robin's in the
Shelboy.
Vibram kit. So
there
she
we
was
go.
in the first of those two women that we saw.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and then I just saw Corinne lope by with her long legs.
Yeah, that looks like Melody. She's in that a little bit of a normal kit, Quebec athlete, and then Corinne Chalvoy
A few
there.
Canadians. I got to give a shout out to my Canadians as a fellow Vancouverite, now living in the U.S., but I'm always proud to see that, and especially an Arizona race, knowing how hard it is to train in Canada for a warm race.
Yeah, and then the shout out I got was for Sarah Teeter, bib 1661. She got her and her sister here for the women's race shirts for Christmas.
Aw.
And she's running the 50K here
Very
today, her
cool.
first ever ultra.
Wow. See, there we go. We were just saying earlier, I think dropping down from the 60K to the 50K distance really is, for a lot of people, maybe the deciding factor in this being their first ultra. And I mean, I remember my first ultra, Corinne. You probably do too. It's a very profound experience, and you feel like you emerge from it a different person. So really excited for everybody who's tackling their first race today, their first ultra.
Yeah, it's a big deal. You get to make that jump in distance once.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it doesn't feel like maybe that big of a jump from a marathon to a 50K, but it is. It's a big jump.
Especially
and then
on trail.
Yeah,
it's totally different.
It is. It's like, oh,
Lot
okay,
longer.
like how long am I going to be out here for? Am I actually prepared for that? And then trying to ID that solo runner. Did someone go off? Did someone take a flyer off the front, or is this part of our chase pack?
Oh, hey, look at that. I think this must be chase because this is the same section of trail it looks like that the other guys moved through already. But yeah, someone's out there trucking another like white
Moving
shirt,
really
black
well,
shorts
yeah.
combo. They are moving very well.
It's like identify the ants as they go marching by.
Trotting by.
Some people have very distinctive arm carriages. Riley Brady has a very distinctive arm carriage.
Yeah.
Abby Hall, very distinctive arm carriage. When E.O. Wang was racing, very distinctive like ponytail bop.
Totally.
That
so true.
Is that Adam Mary?
I was just wondering that too. He sort of, Adam again has a very distinctive style. I feel like he sort of attacks the terrain.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And
No pony though.
just the way that he's moving.
But there was a guy in that front group who I thought was Adam and then wasn't as well, who I think is also wearing bright pink, reddish, orangey shoes. But Adam's got the
if
hair.
you got info for us, you guys.
Yeah, Adam's got the hair, but there was another guy in the top 10 who looked very similar. So I don't know if that's someone sitting in that Wade Hall group, but that's someone I think sitting right at the back part of our men's top 10. Moving through that section pretty well.
Yeah. For those of you in the chat giving the drone crew their flowers, well deserved. We're getting some amazing shots from the course this morning. It's just like really cool to be able to see the terrain like this and to track these runners and really to get a sense of how fast they're moving because, oh my God, they are like, again, just flying. Is that our same solo friend?
I think so.
Is that the elusive Chris Lieferman?
It's possible.
Because we haven't had eyes on him really, so... That's
yeah, and then we lost him for a second, and then he came back.
And he's back. But he was never gone.
He was actually never gone. His bib was gone. Yeah, this is the stuff I'm talking about. It's like you could see someone directly across from you, but then you're like, oh, let me run back into this corner for a bit and then come back
and
forward.
Kind of have to go up a little bit and let like it's not just this linear thing. You can't.
We got a banana.
Oh, amazing!
Got a fast.
Oh, that is
fast
a bouncing
banana.
fanny pack. Woof.
And a very fast banana.
And that was the was that the Tonry kid? Is that what you were saying?
Yep. So updates from our women's top 10 coming through. Hidden Treasure again. Allison Baca ripping through. But just behind her, we're talking less than a minute, about 40 seconds, is Carolyn Alcorta and her second 50K. We mentioned Imogen and Jennifer right together a couple minutes back. And then just about 40 seconds behind her, Kristen Schnidler. Also, I'm not going to say her name right again. They'll correct me.
Schindler.
Yeah, Schindler. Shish kebab. And then back in 6, we saw Robin Lesh, followed kind of in quick succession by Lacey, Melody, Corinne Shalvoy. And then did we get our 10th gal through? We have, but it hasn't been updated on our end. I've definitely seen a number of women come through.
Yeah.
Kennedy's in that mixed.
Yeah,
Corinne Strickland, maybe, with a K.
More Corinnes?
There are
We are rich in Corinnes.
Technically, there might be 3 Corinnes in this field because there's a Corinne Shalvoy, there's a Corinne spelled like Corinne Shalvoy, and then this is either a Karen Strickland or a Corinne Strickland, but it's spelled Karin.
Oh, interesting.
Tell me if that's Karen or Corinne.
Karen. I'm going Karen on that one.
I like that spelling of Karen if that's the case, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that those women should be rounding out our top 10 through Hidden Treasure. We know that Maddie Pfeiffer was kind of in that mix, sitting just outside the top 10. Jessica Burke, Abigail Forsman, Jocelyn Winnie, kind of rounding out that top 15 heavy hitters. I'm not seeing a pirate theme today. I'm seeing a wolf hat on this gentleman.
Is that fashion or function, though?
I think
because it's still cool enough. It could be someone goes by shirtless who doesn't look very cool. But for those of us who are not running, it definitely still feels a little cool. So hard to tell.
Someone said closed captioning is worth it just to see how it interprets everyone's names.
Oh my gosh. Classic Karen pronunciation. I was just thinking that if your name was Karen with a Karin.
But it could be Karin.
You would be constantly explaining it to people. Like that would be your life. Just start spelling your name. Don't even say it. Just I'll spell it for you.
Yeah. The Corinnes are really like coming together in the trail and ultra running world. Makes me feel good. We've started a wave of Corinnes. Take that, Sarah and Jennifer. There's Skylar coming on through. Again, Skylar spent a good 8+ hours here in studio yesterday as we did race coverage together, bringing in our podium finishers, our top 10 men's and women's finishers, and then we stayed on through the 12-hour mark. We left here right around, I think, what was that, like 13 or so plus hours into the race before the overnight crew tagged in.
Yeah.
That's Carolyn on your screen right there. I mean, technically, it's a little bit herky-jerky, so it looked like she was running extra fast, but she is running,
yeah.
really fast.
I think the camera was just trying to catch up with her, you know? It was like
the lag really did us benefit there. But that is Carolyn, I believe, absolutely ripping.
Yeah. Oh, man, Allison better watch out. It is so much fun to see these ladies just moving so quickly right up there in the top field overall, just like huge leg speed. Again, that like 10K speed in her legs is coming out, the like close to Olympic time trials qualifying speed. It's really amazing to see that translate. More and more people coming over to the trail world with these fast legs, and that is showing, especially in a race like Black Canyon where you really can open up and just let it rip, and she is. I also feel like this shot right now, like the ground looks black. Like I feel like I understand the name. I don't feel like I've really seen the trail this way before. I'm just loving these shots right now.
There is a reason why it's called the Black Canyon.
Who knew? Yes, but you know, it's also the desert canyon in many ways.
Right. It's a French name.
Oh,
So technically, it's pronounced completely differently, I think, than what we're working with.
And I'll just while you're researching Karen pronunciations, and then you can correct me on how I'm pronouncing it all wrong. I will say that our predictive times are saying Brian Whitfield's going to be into Bumblebee, which is the mile 19.3 aid station and the only crew access aid station on this course today. And they're just flying. It's hard to believe they'll already be at the 19-mile mark and well on their way here. And it's definitely moving fast and furious. All right. Did you get a pronunciation?
Nope. I just want to say, if you have a funky name, like myself, and you want us to say it right on the live stream, I highly recommend that you fill out the runner questionnaire survey that I get in studio, because that would be really nice. It does sound like it's just plain Karen, as an FYI.
Her mom's in the chat.
But I got a text from someone who's also in the know, and that is what I'm being told.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, thank you.
We'll fight about it.
It's a great long tracking shot, just really getting a sense of these runners and how fast they're moving through this terrain. Really, really fun to watch. Again, if you are just joining us, this is the Black Canyon 50K World Trail Majors this year. First time it's the 50K distance, not the 60K distance. So this is a fun little change for us. Corinne Malcolm and Hillary Yang were on the mics today, bringing you all the hot takes and live coverage and attempts at identifying runners along the course. But it's a privilege to be here. We're grateful to Hoka for all their support in bringing this broadcast to you. And this coverage is just incredible. It's an amazing team here at Mountain Outpost putting it on. So shout out to everybody involved in bringing you this coverage. Just gets better and better, you guys.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. I mean, I feel like Black Canyon live streaming was some of the earliest live streaming we had, and it's really cool to see it to continue to get to develop it. Again, on your screen, that's Carolyn Alcorta, Cowgill Zone, Washington Zone, pretty darn new to trail running and absolutely
couldn't tell, right?
Shredding it right now.
Yeah. What a great section, of course.
Yeah, looking really, really smooth. So the runner at the front right now on your screen, that is our second place in the women's field. Carolyn Alcorta, full-time nurse, just shy of the women's Olympic trial standard for the 10K on the track. Used to run for ASICS, getting into trail running. Cowgill's been kind of keeping her a secret, and she is not going to be a secret anymore.
Bam, here she is.
Yeah.
What do you think we're going to see at Bumblebee? Do you think we're going to see more of the top guys stopping for crew and aid here?
I think they're going to utilize crew there, but they're going to utilize crew, race car style, right?
Totally. I love the NASCAR style.
They're going to be throwing bottles, getting bottles thrown at them. It's going to be very, very quick. And
do you think we're going to see some ice? I mean, I know it's early in the morning, but I did see a lot of sweaty runners going through already. Like, it's definitely heating up for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, as soon as the sun is really on them, it's going to get especially hot. For the people running through this section later in the day, those black rocks hold a lot of heat, and it kind of emanates up out of the ground at you. And so that is another heat factor for the runners today. But I do think that I don't think at the front end we're going to see a ton of in-race cooling. I think they're going to continue to blitz, and that the men in particular are going to get here before it's truly heating up out there. I mean, they started at 7 a.m. They're going to be here before 10:30, I think.
Totally.
So
10:15 maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, someone said the 50K is just a marathon with an extra gel. Did anyone tell Carolyn this thing's a 50K? She has run a 50K before at Sun Mountain, and Sun Mountain's a hard, hot generally.
Yeah, 50K. I've done that one. It is. And it's also similarly windy. It's got a lot of sections like this. So it's actually quite comparable as far as the terrain goes. It'll be interesting to see how that translates for her. But yeah, I think she's definitely running within her limits. It doesn't seem like she's going too hot for what she can handle, so to speak. But we haven't seen Allison for a little while, so it'll be hard to know if that gap has changed at all.
What's our estimated time to Bumblebee for our lead men and women?
Well, let's see. For lead men, I believe it was 7:52. coming into Bumblebee. And then for Allison, our lead woman, it's 8:05. So again, not that far off, 13 minutes off from our lead guys. And, that's kind of exciting to see the two races so close together in a field this fast and for a shorter race. But we should be seeing them pretty shortly.
Yeah, Bumblebee will feel like a bit of reprieve getting to run in there to see your crew. I will say, if you're crewing at Bumblebee, I don't know if the pigs are out, but go say hi to the pigs. I got to feed them last year. It was awesome.
Wow.
I got a bunch of rescue pigs, and they are just these big, funny guys.
Babies, like
gals,
potbelly
technically.
ones?
Yeah, they're so great.
Oh, cute.
And they needed all the snacks, and I got to feed them a bunch of vegetables. It was an awesome time.
Second only to the dogs. Corinne's love.
Yeah, we got
any other animal.
I think we got an even split between that triathlon life and Satisfy's own Max fans in the chat, and so someone asked, just tuned in, where is Eric? Eric's sitting really solidly in fifth position right now, running on the uber talented, newly Brooks sponsored athlete Chris Myers. Yeah. So sitting in a really, really good spot. Really.
Should we do a little recap of our top 10 men and women as we look towards Bumblebee at mile 19?
Yeah. Let's dig in there.
Yeah, we got Brian Whitfield, Adam V. We're going with that. Jeshen Small. They're all running together. They've been running together most of the race. Interesting watching them. Even if Jeshen stopped for water, I think at both of the aid stations, but closed the gap pretty fast. So that group has really stayed together. No one's really broken away yet. They came through Hidden Treasure at 1:14 elapsed, and they are expected to hit Bumblebee in just a few minutes, 8 minutes or so. And then in fourth place, Chris Myers, Eric Lagerstrom in fifth place. They're running together, really. And then Chris Leiferman, we think, might be the lone wolf runner we saw in the live stream for a minute just back there. And he's maybe, less than a minute. He came through the Hidden Treasure like less than 30 seconds behind Chris and Eric, so very close together. And then in seventh place, Wade Hall. Eighth place, Kyle Fox. Jeff Colt running in ninth place right now, and certainly not out of contention. He is such a strong runner. He is no stranger to success on races like this, and coming back from a hamstring injury, but looking really fast and fresh. So we'll see where he ends up placing. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Matt Luongo, who I believe is from Canada. Shout out to Canada every time. And it's a fun and fast men's top field. And I'll also give a shout out to Adam Mary running in 11th. Max Joliffe is running in 13th. I know there's a lot of fans of Max's in the chat right now. And Brett Harnig, who is also a fan favorite, in 14th, and Moyes in 15th. So really deep men's field, really. We could just keep going. The list goes on of all these guys that are still right in the mix, and it's really, really fun to see that all shaking out. Do you want to take us through our ladies?
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to make fun of Brett, but I don't think I have. His information.
Oh, that's sad. That's
pulled
very
up, so that's okay. We can make fun of Brett later. Yeah. He's not in a sweatsuit, for those wondering. So, leading on the women's side, we have Allison Baca. She came through Hidden Treasure at 1:23:05 elapsed, but only 40-ish seconds. Excited to see what she can do. And then we've got kind of a train of women, all within about a minute of each other. Imogen Ainsworth is running with Jennifer Schmidt at Hidden Treasure, coming through in 1:25:59 and 1:26 even elapsed, just about 45 seconds or so behind them. Kristen's hanging in there, running in F5, bringing that marathon fitness over on that build. We saw Robin Lesh come through Hidden Treasure, 1:28:39. Just behind Robin Lesh was the duo of Lacey Borges and Melody Gilbert, another Canadian there, another athlete out of Quebec. So a lot of cold weather athletes making it happen. Corinne Chalvoy, who was in the field all day doing commentary, including finish line interviews and crewing her husband Graham in F9, coming through 1:29:05 elapsed at Hidden Treasure. And then Karen Strickland in 10th, but with Maddie Pfeiffer in 11th, so 1:32:21 and 1:32:23 elapsed at Hidden Treasure. Bumblebee, the next location where we'll get to see them, is just about 20 miles into the race. So is this a camera person in fourth here, do we think?
I don't think so.
Do you think that's Eric
I
Lagerstrom?
think that's a runner. Interesting.
That's a big move if that's the case.
Yeah. Well, we should have splits on it pretty quickly as they come into Bumblebee. We'll be able to tell you who it is. But yeah, look at that. They're like
Very much
right
close
up
in the
there.
gap.
That's crazy. Yeah. Again, we do expect
And we'll have Jamil at Bumblebee, so we'll get his beta and takes and frazzle meters on the ground there.
Perfect. Yeah, we expect them in there in just a couple
I
minutes.
don't know who that is. That's not Chris, and I don't think it's Eric.
Yeah, just like out of nowhere.
Oh, no. That's because we're not looking at our top 3 men.
There we go.
That makes way more sense.
That makes me, yeah, I was like, holy crap. Okay.
We figured it out. Okay, Jamil. We got you.
Hey. Awesome. Out here at Bumblebee Ranch. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Out here at Bumblebee Ranch, awaiting the leaders, and it's a great day. There's a small but mighty crowd here. I just checked in with the Hemmings a little bit. They're out here this morning supporting, and a huge group from Cowgill Collective has collectively gathered.
Yeah, we've got, Caroline is running in second place female and representing. So, yeah, I'm sure there'll be a big cheer for her as she comes in. We should be seeing those runners come towards you any second now, Jamil. And
Awesome.
yeah.
We'll keep an eye out. I'll give you guys
It's
the
looking
lowdown as
like-
it comes in.
It's looking like on our screen right now, we only have Brian Whitfield and Jeshrin Small in picture. So I don't know if Adam V is behind them or in front of them. But right now, the 2 men on our screen who are absolutely ripping, it's Brian Whitfield leading
I feel
Jeshrin
like they're
Small.
in front.
I
Yeah.
think they're in front 1 and 2.
That's interesting because they
Yeah,
were
this
all
is
together
that-
just a couple minutes ago.
This is that cut down trail. They should be coming in sight of the road crossing here shortly that leads right into the ranch.
Yeah.
Jamil, the people want to know, did you feed the pigs at Bumblebee?
I haven't seen the pigs yet. I'm not as mobile as I'd like to be, but I'll keep an eye out.
Okay. There was also like a very cute baby cow there last year that I hung out with for a while.
Corinne just
I
goes
did
for
get
It was in a
stopped by
jacket.
I did get stopped by several cattle on the drive down from Antelope to Hidden Treasure Mine, though. We're crossing the road. There was a baby cow out there, too, so
It's like the beginning of a joke.
we can see Bumblebee in the distance there now.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, shout out to the drone team this morning, Jamil. We've been getting some incredible footage on this live stream. It's been really, really fun to see the runners just eating up these trails and these gorgeous long follow shots. So, yeah, amazing coverage today.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I'm loving it.
Yeah, they're about to come to that road crossing. We got another tidbit of beta on Carolyn Alcorta, who's in second, a Cowgale athlete. She also was 17th at Club Cross Country Nationals this winter. So the girl's got range, and she is very speedy.
All right, here we go. They're just crossing the road and coming into the ranch here.
Jeshrin just did a quick look over his shoulder. I think he's kind of wondering if they've been able to put a little bit of time into Adam V there. But yeah, Brian Whitfield, Jeshrin running shoulder to shoulder on the road.
Interesting. Yeah, and again,
Jeshrin's like, they keep ghosting me in aid stations because I keep filling up bottles. I better lead into this one.
totally gotta like stack my deck here a little bit.
We'll definitely be looking for the frazzle meter though. Jamil, want to know how calm and cool these guys are.
I'm on it.
Just turning that corner as they come into the aid station area down the road there. It'll be interesting to see their crewing strategy in the aid station here, especially with them running so close together and this being such a fast race.
I mean, Jeshrin is one of the best 50K runners in the U.S. Brian Whitfield as well is very, very talented.
And they know each other well. They run together. They, very similar styles. So it really is going to be quite interesting to see when they decide to make moves, and what that looks like. All right, they're going to start looking for their crew as they come in.
I have eyes on them.
All right, give us all the deets.
They're coming around one of the ranch buildings here, and then they'll shortly be through aid. All right. They are now entering the aid station area through the Satisfy Arch. My view is a little partially blocked, but... Oh, they're both straight through. Hey there, morning. Okay, they're both in and out. Brian gave me a little greeting. I barely saw any stoppage.
Brian has not stopped at a single aid station.
Yeah, no, he hasn't.
He's not stopped once to fill at all.
He looks happy. He looks
great.
He just gave me a greeting. He looks casual, so I don't know.
Wow.
I'm speechless.
Did it look like they had crew there?
I couldn't quite tell. There's a big pack over there. They may have briefly grabbed something, but I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, it'd be an easy place to do a bottle drop, just like grab a bottle from your crew.
Just toss it and grab. Yep.
Yeah. Jesh has filled up a bottle at both aid stations between the start and here, but every single time Brian's run straight through and then Jesh has to close to it. And so curious to see them both kind of roll through here, making those decisions.
Coming through here now.
Sick.
All right. So
Adam
there he
is. Rolling through.
About 30 seconds behind.
Yep, there he is. And he is right on through as well.
Yeah, again, this is right around the 20-mile mark in the race.
Running an unsupported 50K so far.
Yeah, in under 2 hours. Through the gate.
Oh, we got Chris Myers closing the gap here.
Nice. Eric Lagerstrom should be nearby as well.
Chris looks like he's floating along quite nice. All right, we got Eric coming through next. Shout out TTL crew, Naish in the chat. We got Waddy out on the cam in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the video from this is going to be so sick. I don't know if you have watched any of that triathlon life stuff, but I don't know anything about triathlon, but I love their videos. They're really great.
I need to tune in more to them. I also heard there's some other stuff in the works surrounding his trip out here, which I'm super pumped about. So looking forward to becoming a subscriber to that. This is at 1880 coming through next. I forget who this was.
I think is that Chris?
Is this
Chris
or Wade? This is Wade Hall, actually.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
Because we're also looking for Chris Leiferman, 2101.
Okay.
But Wade Hall, 1880. Right. Yep, through in 6.
Yeah, so Wade might have made the pass.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was only 6 seconds behind Chris at Hidden Treasure, so that wouldn't surprise me.
We've got a couple more coming through right now, looks like. So this could be Chris and...
He looks happy.
We're doing the Anthony Costales, repping Chico State at Black Canyon. We love to see it.
Channeling the Costales energy. And then we've got, looks like Chris definitely doing some bottle swapping. He actually returns back to his crew. May have forgotten something. And here he comes. Yep, Chris is coming through now. He's packing some bottles. Looks like he's got a lot of water with him. Nice work. He was looking a little frazzled, actually. Oh, so frazzle meter, is it a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, I think so.
9 maybe.
9 on the
All right, let's
frazzle
go,
meter. That's
Jeff.
high. Come on,
Jeff
Jeff.
through?
They're frazzled.
I mean, Jeff looks like calm and cool.
Jeff's wife texted me and was like, Jeff's hair this morning there's something going on.
It's got some bounce to it, right?
It is. It is
some
growing.
movement.
It is flowing.
Yeah, it is something.
Hey, maybe it gives him a
We got
little
an
extra.
empty bottle here from someone. We got a Chris. So Chris, in his frazzleness, lost a bottle here. It looks like
I
it might
think
be
he chucked
empty.
it. I saw him chuck it.
Oh no, I think he was over hydrating. So, yeah, Chris Lieferman. Thank you. He had his hands full. He had all kinds of stuff going on. It was something to see. And he had a bottle of something too, like a coconut water maybe. I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
Maybe a
so
soy milk.
Chris
I don't
Leiferman
know.
dropping a bottle for the crew there. Yeah, someone said, "What did he just throw? Did he litter?" No, just Chris getting that bottle back to the crew. It looks
within
like
the
so.
bounds of the aid station, not a problem.
Yeah, you got Jamil laying down the law out there. So we're
You want your bottle back. I'm glad his crew got it back from him.
yeah, and then we've got Mackay in the chat and Gus Gibbs in the chat. Yeah, so Chris was supposed to pace, I think, the full 50K section yesterday for Mackay, and Mackay's day did not go to plan, unfortunately. But that does mean that Chris is a bit fresher today.
This is true. Yeah, I didn't
That could go
realize
well
he was
for
planning
him.
on doing both. Yeah,
So top.
after 2 hours.
Yeah, this next section, it's a bit of a climb up to Gloriana Mine. So whereas up until here, it feels like almost a straight downhill from Mayor High. There are a couple bumps, but this will feel like the first significant climb of the day. There's not many on the 50K course, but we could see some separation by the time they get up to Gloriana Mine. And I am starting to feel that sun a little bit.
Yeah. And it could be a differentiator for those guys in the front that didn't stop for any water. I don't know how they're hydrating, but Brian at least hasn't appeared to stop at all. So
Yeah, he's had relatively full bottles though, so who knows?
It's a final aid station before the finish, so I beg of you, Brian, please fill your bottles at Gloriana. Take the 10 seconds. I'm calling out now.
we'll just meet him with a hose at the finish line.
Jamil's like, we have insurance, but come on, Brian. Like, no rescues
see
from
you get to that
Gloriana
finish
to Deep
line.
Canyon.
There's no camel awards.
It's a long way to go. We do know that Mary Denholm walked from Gloriana to Deep Canyon yesterday after vomiting, I think, just past Gloriana Mine when things really fell apart. And it is a long walk from Gloriana to Deep Canyon. So runners do need to take care of themselves out there. But that strategy at the front of the race is tricky, right? Where they're trying to balance that, like, that, okay, if this guy doesn't stop, I can't stop type of thing. And that's risky business.
Well, just like we see in the Golden Trail series, it reminds me a little bit where literally every second counts here. And I think that's what it could come down to today for the Black Canyon 50K.
No, I think you're right. And I think it's going to be a game of who cracks first. I think for both of these guys, they're probably not wanting to show if they're hurting or anything like that. They don't want to give an inch.
Adam Mary
big
coming
cheers
through.
for Adam Mary coming through, Boulder Boys.
There's
Shout
the
out.
hair.
Got Ryan Thrower with the 360 cam. Isn't his arm long enough to
And
make
the
that happen
bucket.
naturally?
Totally. Someone was asking in the chat about the temperatures right now. My phone is saying it is 57 degrees Fahrenheit at the finish line right now, which doesn't feel or sound like that hot, but when you're running and you're out in the sun, it is warmer than that for sure.
We
Yeah,
got
Gus
Sharps
Gibbs
coming through now.
Oh, nice. People in the chat are definitely asking about Devin, so glad that he's making his way through. Gus was also saying that Brian is likely fueling with the Scratch Lab super high carb mix and is a bit of a camel as well. So just maybe not needing quite as many milliliters as some of the other guys.
If he knows his body, you can overhydrate, and for sure nausea is a big thing, so maybe it's easier to just sip, and especially for a race where he's going to be done in
that's Devin Sharp's the second guy that we just saw come through. And
Yeah, we had Matt Luongo, and then Devin Sharps, and Max Joliffe should be next.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Devin was a guy that I was super interested about coming into this race. Seems mega talented. Local Phoenix area runner. Really excited to see him in the 50K here today. We got people in the chat demanding Max.
The shorter distances. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for Max here. I see
and someone else is asking
entered
about
the
Brett.
aid.
Yeah, they should be pretty much close together. I think they're a few seconds
Yeah,
apart.
we got a couple runners coming through right now. Oh, we got Brett Hornig.
There we go.
He is definitely stopping. Looks like he's getting a fill up. I think maybe from Craig Thornley.
He might give you an interview if you ask him nicely.
Just a few quick thoughts, Brett.
Brett, how we feeling?
Brett's
How we
frazzle
feeling?
meter.
How we feeling?
Frazzle meter.
Cold, man.
He says we're cold.
Cold.
He does not look frazzled. No frazzle.
Jamila's running with him.
And we got
It's because
Max.
he doesn't have the
Nice job,
tracksuit on.
Max.
Murdered out in the black there. Close
Yeah.
up of that moth tech. We love to see it.
It's got extra ventilation.
The cotton tee with extra vent.
Yeah, it's a move.
It's a vibe.
Yeah,
It's a choice.
It's a great day for
this
Moth
is
Tech.
definitely a choice.
I mean, cotton in the desert's a great idea. You know, it's a dry heat.
It's very true. We've got, speaking of, I don't know, dry heat, we've got our first woman coming in pretty soon, I would expect. Predicted time for Alison Bach is actually 8:05, so we're right about there. Should be seeing her really any second now. I think there's a couple more guys in front of her, but yeah, should start seeing our top women very shortly.
Jamil, someone
Matthew
wants to do a
Eisen
golden
just
ticket.
came through.
People are suggesting a golden
sorry, go
ticket
ahead.
in the golden ticket, in which if you win the 50K, you get entry to the 100K as a Russian nesting doll tactic for Air Viper racing.
I'm in. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's
I know
print
the
up
box.
some tickets real quick.
We'll just handwrite it on a napkin.
Get Jubilee on it, yeah. Freak Brothers could maybe
we'll
just
go
make
to,
a
like,
pizza
Black-
that says... Yeah, we got it.
We'll go to Black Canyon City Printers on demand.
I've lost my YouTube. I'm down.
You're back. Thanks everyone who's chatting away. We honestly love seeing all the comments and the cheers for runners, and you know, it's so much fun to be here and to help narrate or attempt to narrate this day as it unfolds, and this awesome race out at the front of the pack right now. But it wouldn't be what it is without all of you guys being part of it. So shout out to our live stream chat and all your fun facts.
All right, we got Air Viper's own Bryce Brooks rolling through.
Out of the bulls. I wasn't expecting that.
All right. We should be getting our top woman, Allison, through any second. And once
I think
that
I
rolls
have
through,
eyes on Allison Baca.
There we go.
She's coming
There
into
we
the
go.
aid station right now.
Ask and you shall receive.
She is water dumped on her head as well. Here she
Okay,
comes
so it is
through the
heating up
aid
a little bit.
station.
Yeah, we were wondering about the
She looks strong.
cooling strategies.
Negative frazzle.
Negative frazzle. We love to see
And
it.
high ponytail bounce.
Yeah. There should be a factor associated with ponytail bounce.
Yes.
Specifically.
Absolutely. It's like a little propeller. That's how I always think of it.
Yeah, and then Carolyn Alcorta shouldn't be that far behind, and Cowgill is going to lose their mind for her.
Yeah, the Cowgill is just, they're waiting on the fence posts. They've got eyes out. It's going to erupt here in a minute.
We are here for it. Bring on the cowgill.
Yeah, again, Allison's first race in that new sick Hoka kit. Really excited for her.
Yeah. Someone else kitted out in Hoka here too. Looking fresh.
The presenting sponsor, the Black Canyon Ultras.
Yep.
We got to do it.
Oh.
Oh, missing something. Forgetting
Yeah.
something.
Hey, you don't want to leave without... You know, I was going to say, too, how cool is it to have the race director of Western States filling up your bottles for you? Shout out to Craig Thornley. I hear cowgill.
I just remember coming to this aid station
Yep,
during the
there's something
2020 Black
happening.
Canyon. And I was already hot at this aid station.
Yeah.
I came in like in tears almost, again, obviously, to Kelly Wolf and Jason Coop. And I was like, I'm
Like, oh,
overheating.
no.
Like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, it was rough. But Allison Baca on your
All right.
screen, floating up this
We've got
climb.
a sighting on Carolyn here.
We can
Okay.
hear her for sure.
Trying to go back to your camera, Jamil, so that we can see Carolyn come through the aid.
There we go.
Oh, she's ripping.
She's with the collective.
The cult. I mean, no, collective. The cowgirl. The cowgirl something.
Yeah, she's with the collective, getting attended to. There's a media frenzy also happening, it looks like.
That's so Clara, who was in the 100K,
Oh, they're putting
unfortunately
ice
did
in
not
her
have her day.
pack.
Nice.
Or ice
She's got
in
a
her
pro
shirt,
team
maybe.
around her.
I knew we were going to get some.
All right, she's coming through.
I think she switched from a pack to handhelds, is what you're seeing there. I
she's-
think she came in a
yeah.
pack and is leaving with a handheld.
She's got an ice bandana on. There was a minor frazzle moment when she was just trying to find the course, but it's a little confusing because you're through this ramada, but she got through unscathed. She's on her way up the hill.
She is in business. She means business. You can tell when the pack comes off and the handhelds come out.
Yeah, people in the chat earlier when we were watching her run this beautiful section of single track were like, did someone tell her it's a 50K? Like, she knows it's a 50K, right? Like,
yeah.
she looks like she's running so fast.
Someone asked where we are announcing from, which is a great question because we are announcing from where the trail spits out and they run this great straight shot right into the finish line. So we are expecting some hot finishes, some super fast finishes here very shortly.
Yeah, potential drag race between Brian Whitfield and
I kinda wanna see
Jeshrin.
it.
I want to see a sprint. There's Luke Webster
Our media teams are
with his
representing very well.
homemade moth tech going on.
It's
Don't
so
let
good.
Satisfy
He's
know.
got the tassels
That's
on
like
the
my
bottom.
Poor man's
We
version.
should beat it for him. I feel like he needs little beads on his tassels.
Oh my gosh. Do you think that would chafe? That would
I
be
don't-
so distracting.
No, I think
I don't
I
know
think
if
it'd make a
this
lot of
was
noise.
talked about. I don't know if this was talked about in the 100K live stream, but one of the great things about Bumblebee Ranch aid stations, they've got like a full breakfast lunch setup. You can order drinks, food, pizzas, all kinds of stuff out here, which is
That is
awesome.
clutch. For those of us that are out on the course during these races, or you're crewing and you don't have time to go by a store or something, being able to get some food and have a solid meal, you know, as a spectator, not just a runner, is amazing. Love Bumblebee. We got,
And we
the
got some
cowbell
bumper
in full
stickers
effect.
too from Satisfy at the bar. David,
Those are fun. I saw those. Yeah. Awesome.
I'd rather be at Bumblebee Ranch aid station. And then if you want to race, Black Canyon is the place.
Hillary's got some strong feelings about the
There's a lot of fonts. As a
Typography
graphic
on that
designer,
one.
There's 4 fonts going on in that one thing. But
Oh,
hey, it
I mean,
works.
have you seen what they did at the Saddles race this last year? You'd lose your mind.
Oh no, I didn't. But yeah, you could see my eyeballs just start spinning. I'm sure.
The font that they used, there was some semblance to what it was, but it was almost illegible. Like unless you really knew how to decode it, it just looked like it was all the same font. I'll have to send it to you.
Oh my
But
gosh,
every bid
yeah.
number had like these. It was like these thorny numbers, and it just looked like every number was exactly the same, but they were slightly different.
I mean, I respect it because that is commitment. Like, if you're gonna go for it, then you just like full
Oh, yeah.
send on the graphic design front. So
Oh yeah.
shout out to Satisfy for being all in on everything, and I love the personalized aid station.
Avant-garde.
I've got some
like
pitches
stickers.
for him. I think those stickers should be distressed, Jamil.
Yeah, we were saying we should take a hole punch to them. Like, come on, that's the ultimate branding move.
Moth tech to the bumper
Yeah.
sticker.
Just come for all the free marketing ideas in the live stream chat. You're welcome. Should we do a little roundup of where we are right now, Chris?
Yeah,
I
we're still
feel
waiting
like-
for our next women to come in. Is kind of
We
that
are,
the
yeah.
critical mass there is what we're waiting for. But we do know that we've got our top 2 women through Bumblebee, but we are waiting on.
There's a bit of a gap now.
Yeah, big gap has
Yeah,
opened up
gap has
behind
grown.
them between Imogen, Jennifer, and Kristen. So we are waiting for F3, 4, and 5 right now. But we did have Allison Baca and Carolyn come zipping through a couple minutes ago. We got some more action, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, just goes to show how fast Allison and Carolyn
Third woman
are running.
coming through now.
There we go. Is that Imogen?
I think Imogen was in all black. I think that
Do you
was
know
the
who that
message I
is,
got
Jen?
earlier.
Yeah.
Which woman? Hey, Shay.
Just confirming which of our ladies.
Do you know who that
A
is?
few of them all together.
That's Jennifer? Yeah. That's Jennifer. I'm being
All
told.
right. Interesting. So Jennifer Schmidt, who was in 4th place, has moved into 3rd place.
Yeah, she was with Imogen at the
think-
last aid station.
Yeah, that's true. Very close together.
And Kristen was right there too. So we've got another woman, I think a
Kristen Schindler, yeah.
woman in the aid right now moving through.
Great to have you there, Jamil, by the way. This
so
is
next
awesome.
up
having
is
boots
going
on
to
the ground.
be, this is Imogen right here. And then right on her heels is Kristen.
Oh,
So Kristen actually
making
just
a pass.
passed Imogen here in the aid right at the end of the bar.
Ice bandana on. Ice bandana and gloves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can
Is
see
that a Lin Chen? Are those gloves soaked down, or is that like my hands are cold but I want this ice on me?
Yeah, as someone that always has cold hands and has my hands on like the heater in my car in the middle of the summer. I don't know. But it's an interesting move.
It's a strategy.
It is a strategy, yes.
Yeah, so we do have our top 5 women through with a little bit of a shake up there, with Kristen moving her way, or not Kristen, sorry, with Jennifer moving her way into 3rd, but followed in close succession by Imogen and Kristen there, rounding out our top 5 women through Bumblebee. But that gap has opened up. It's at about 5 minutes between Carolyn Alcorta and that chase pack for 3, 4, and 5. And Allison Baca also opened up her lead a little bit over Carolyn Alcorta, with that gap going from about 45 seconds to about a minute and a half or so.
We'll keep an eye out for the next ladies as they come through.
I think I've got eyes on the next woman.
Do you? All
Came
right,
ripping
we'll
through.
pause
Got
on
a
that.
huge ice bandana. Got loaded up right at the Satisfy Truss, and she's coming through now. This is Robin Leash.
Robin Lesh, yeah.
She
Great.
is, Robin Leash. She's soaked, looking a little frazzled again, just trying to find her way, navigate her way through the aid station, but she's on her way out now.
I feel like in the last 20 minutes, we are seeing a lot more athletes taking the time to cool down. I feel like the sun all of a sudden has kicked up a notch. You know, like the first few guys looked quite cool. You couldn't see the sweat on them. And now we're really seeing people, they're either soaked or they're getting soaked by their crews. Fill up bottles and hydrate, hey?
Yeah, I had to have a little talking to Eli Hemming this morning already about cooling strategies.
Yeah. He, I think he struggled towards the end of the race with potentially overheating a bit, didn't he?
We were all surprised a little bit when he left Black Canyon City without any bottle fills. He said he had 3 bottles with him, but what he wasn't counting on was any sort of topical cooling use of water for that section.
Yeah.
So hard lesson to learn, but he'll definitely learn it.
It's such a huge thing. You go to Western States now, and it's like a professional course in how to cool your body down. And now we're seeing that really play out in races like Black Canyon, where, you know, someone was saying yesterday, it has to be an A race. You have to treat it like a Western States, you know, if you want to be competitive.
You really do.
All right, so where are we at for women? Was that was 6th place woman that just came through, and then it looks like we have another little pack we should expect very shortly to round out our top 10 women.
Yeah, it seems like
we're
Robin
waiting for
closed a
Lacey,
little bit
Melody,
of a gap.
and Corinne.
And just while we're sort of waiting for them to come through, we've got Brian Whitfield and Jeshrin Small are running together in the lead coming out of Bumblebee. They came through. They've been running pretty much the entire race together. Jeshrin has stopped for bottle fills a couple times. Brian has not stopped at all, so that we can see. He might have gotten a quick swap, but whatever it was, they're both moving very quickly. They're staying together. They're stride for stride, so that'll be an interesting race play out at the front. We've got Adam V in 3rd place. Oh, we've got another woman
Melody.
coming through. There we go. We've got Melody, our 7th place female.
Athlete from Quebec.
All right, coming through next in 7th is I think it might have been Melody Gilbert.
Yeah, Melody Gilbert.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
These cold weather athletes are doing well in the sun today. They've got their cooling strategies dialed in, it looks like.
I just want to say, so I've got a friend who's currently in the That Triathlon Life's Zwift group ride. And we got a lot of people watching Black Canyons this morning during the That Triathlon Life group ride on Zwift. And we're turning a lot of triathletes into trailies.
The crossover.
There's Corinne Chalvoy coming in.
Come over to the dark side, guys.
All right, here comes Corinne next in 8th.
She is looking so smooth. I think she's moved up a little bit in the field. She was in 9th at the last aid station. Looks like
she's got a huge The Feed branded ice bandana jostling around.
Yep. Excellent. See, again, like all those ice and cooling strategies are coming into play now, and it's really only a matter of minutes, like 20, 30 minutes between when the first guys came through, but already so much hotter. Just going back to our men's field, we have Adam V in 3rd place. He was a minute behind Brian and Jeshrin leaving Bumblebee. Chris Myers in 4th place. Again, another minute, half a minute behind him. Eric Lagerstrom, so shout out to the TTL crowd who are all watching this. He is crushing this race and right in the mix, just a few seconds behind Chris in 5th place. Wade Hall, Kyle Fox, Chris Leiferman, and Jeff Colt and Adam Mary rounding out our top 10 for the men. And again, just a few minutes separating 1 through 10. Looks like we've got a little bit of a gap between the first place guys came through at 1:54, and then 10th place was at 2:02. So we've got a gap of 8 minutes now between 1st and 10th, but still very close and still a lot of room to maneuver within that top 10. So the men's race is shaping up to be exciting, and certainly a race for the podium still to be decided.
Lacey just came through.
Yeah, we got great shot of her coming out of the aid station there.
She ran her way right up to the restroom and has got a little frazzle here.
Oh, just taking a wrong turn there. I was like, oh, just go into the restroom. That's fine. I did also get a DM about Chris Leiferman, who's in the 50K. He's to race from the back out of the water. So maybe not a great swimmer, but a very good runner, and obviously is going to be competitive here today. So love that was a little inside baseball, a little DM coming through with some interesting information.
Yeah.
We got Banana coming into the aid station.
Chris is a 5-time Ironman champ, 4th at World Champs.
Oh, casual. Just like kind of a good triathlete.
A little bit of a pedigree there.
I was like, yeah, he does triathlon, Yeah, we saw a lot of triathlon on the men's side yesterday, right? You had Eli Hemming and Seth Ruling duking it out all day. They both are also former triathletes. Not so much on the long distance side, more both on the Olympic sprint distance side. But yeah, we got a lot of crossover athletes, which is really exciting, and not the current crossover athlete of CrossFit crossover athletes,
right,
but we got a lot of endurance folks that are just making their way to the trails, which I really love.
They know a few things about nutrition and similar strategies. Yeah, what you got, Jamil?
Looks like Chris is competing in the Ironman Tri Pro Series starting in April. So he's a pro triathlete.
Sick. Just a little 50K to warm himself up for the old Pro Series. That's great. So there's a race within the race. We got the fast media guy race, and we got the triathlon guy race.
He made it clear in his Instagram post, it's not a new chapter of his career, but he wants to do some other fun races to test his fitness prior to getting into the triathlon season. So love to see it. It's exciting to see the crossover between different sports, and it's just a good showing that athletes can cross over and have some fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, who knows, down the road, maybe it will inspire him to tackle some of the longer distances. But it is, again, triathletes bring a wealth of knowledge in other areas to the sport and a different perspective on fueling or, hydration strategies or cooling strategies. So it is always really fun to see these athletes come in and tackle the trail world.
Yeah, we're getting some comments about, like, it doesn't seem like it's that hot there. Like, why are people dealing with the heat? And it's like, well, you got to remember that the temperatures swing for a lot of these athletes. We're going from negative degrees to 60 degrees, for example, or we're going from 20 degrees at home, 25 degrees at home to, the high probably today going to be, 70, 74 degrees or so. And that is not insignificant when you haven't had a lot of heat exposure yet this year.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fact it's an early season race really does make of your race season. It's only going to get hotter. So, it's nice to see these athletes taking it seriously and taking that few extra seconds. You're just going to be more comfortable.
Maddie Pfeiffer just came through, I think, in 10th. And I'll just speak to the heat. It's not necessarily the ambient temperature, but it is, like, I'm just noticing it right now. Like, you can just feel the sun just hitting you all of a sudden, like being here in black pants and a black jacket. Like, I can just feel the rays of the sun absorbing, and that's what everyone's feeling right now is, that is starting to hit and really heat things up. So yeah, those front guys, really curious to see what they're going to do at Gloriana, but I just hope that they get a quick sponge bath or something.
It seems like we have our lead men to Gloriana. It's not updating yet on the live tracker, but in the chat, it sounds like we have. There we go. Brian Whitfield and Jeffrey Small. Come on, get some water on you guys. Whoop, camera's static the other direction, so.
They did go by.
But we can't actually see what they're doing in the aid station. Wah.
Well, the suspense continues as far as what those two guys are up to, and
ask them about it to finish.
Yeah, what happened to Gloriana that we couldn't see? Regardless, it does mean they're making their way here very shortly.
Oh.
We just had a couple women come through. Johanny Bieland was one of them. I didn't catch the second, but it looks like there is some movement in the field. A little bit of a shakeup since Hidden Treasure.
Yeah, so we've got leading out of Gloriana, Jeshrin Small on our screen with a little bit of a gap over good friend, former college teammate Brian Whitfield. Their official Gloriana mine splits were 2:25.57 and 2:26.02. Their projected finishing time right now is 3:28 elapsed. We'll see what we got going on, but that's their current projected time coming off of Jeshrin's live tracker. So we'll see how that
24. Yeah.
Actually pans out.
It does look like some moves are being made though, right? Like it feels like they're trying to break that elastic, and there's certainly a push by Jeshrin right now to.
Whitfield stopped at that aid station based on our man on the ground. That Whitfield stopped to fill a bottle there, which is why Jeshrin got this tiny bit of a gap. And Brian is working hard to close it, because Jeshrin wasn't easing up there to let his buddy come back to him. They are racing right now.
Yeah. There's no holding hands into the finish line today.
Eric Lagerstrom closing the gap potentially. Is he only 36 seconds behind Brian?
Is that what we're getting out of that live tracker? That would be wild. So live tracker's got. That's cool.
And potentially past Adam V. I don't see Adam V, but I'm not sure if that's a chip issue or not.
Yeah, Adam V has had chip issues today. His chip did not work earlier in the race, but then got picked back up again. But we can ask Chad in the chat.
I just got to reiterate, like, I'm really feeling the heat now. Like, I'm having to take my jacket off because it is really starting to warm up down here at Bumblebee Ranch.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to impact these runners coming through a lot more than the guys in the front, who will be finished, in the next hour or less. But definitely, starting to see people stop. Even the fact that Brian stopped, I think that being the first time that he stopped this race, does show that maybe he's starting to feel like he needs a bit more water.
Yeah, this is Eric's second 50K. So we had a question in the chat. Has he run a 50K before? Yes, he ran a 50K this fall at Run the Rock out in Smith Rock, Oregon, just not that far from where he lives in Bend, Oregon.
We'll just quickly do a recap of the women's field now that they've all come through Bumblebee. we had Allison Baca leading the race from the gun. She's came out of Bumblebee at 2:07, and then hot on her heels in what is the closest race in the women's field is Caroline Alcorta. Huge. Oh, there's Skylar Hall. Shout out Skylar. Caroline is one of the Cowgill athletes and definitely a fan favorite right now, and is running a really smart race and is hot on Allison's heels. She is about 2 minutes behind her, just over 2 minutes right now. And then Jennifer Schmidt in third place. Imogen Ainsworth was in fourth place, but as we saw the live stream of the aid station, it looked like Kristen Schindler might have passed her as they came out of the aid station to move into fourth. But at any rate, third, fourth, and fifth female were all running pretty close together within a minute of each other, and certainly still jockeying for position. And then we had Melody Gilbert in sixth place from Quebec. Corinne Chalvoy, local favorite and one of the media crew here, she was in seventh place at Bumblebee in 2:19. Lacey Bourgeois was in eighth place, so Corinne passed Lacey in that last section to move into seventh, but Lacey's still holding strong. And then Maddie Pfeiffer and Johanny Balland rounding out the top 10. So 2:26 for the 10th female, and Allison Baca came through in 2:02, I believe, or 2:07. So definitely a little bit more of a gap there for them. Almost 20 minutes for the women's field versus about 10 or 12 minutes for the men's field for the top 10. But yeah, still a race at the front for sure. And then for that third place podium spot, that looks like it's another battle going on at the moment.
Yeah, we're trying to get updates from the field. Our camera was resetting at Gloriana. That looks like Adam V right there, maybe. The field or not. We asked our bib, so I'm not sure if Adam V has come through or not, because his tracker wasn't working earlier in the race. It's kind of been hit or miss, but right now we do know that Jeshrin Small is leading Brian Whitfield. We think Eric Lagerstrom has closed to about 30 seconds and has overtaken Adam V. We're still trying to get confirmation on that. Chris Myers has also gone through that aid station. There's Adam V right
All
there.
right,
So
you
yeah,
dropped off.
Yep. So Adam V, Lagerstrom in third, Chris Myers in fourth, Wade Hall in fifth, and Adam V in sixth.
I finished pacing my friend.
It's fun here at the finish line. We are going live from Deep Canyon right now, where runners will be arriving very shortly at the finish of the 50K, and just started to hear the announcers here warming up and getting ready, and see more people coming into the finish area. I see some cow costumes going by. But yeah, if you are around and watching the live stream and you raced yesterday, or you're in town for Black Canyon, come on out to the finish line at Deep Canyon. We are going to be here all day cheering our runners in. It's going to be so much fun. Come and hang out in the sun with us, watch the live stream, just be part of it, cheer everybody in. It's great.
Okay, I believe the runner on our screen right now with that drone shot is Adam V. So we're trying to get an update from Gloriana Mine. That would put him into
And then
sixth
who's behind
position.
him there?
It'd probably be Kyle Fox or Chris Leiferman.
Really not far off either.
Yeah. Yeah, if this is the case, Adam V did fade on that section, with Eric Lagerstrom making a big move to close towards Jeshrin and Brian, and putting a gap on Chris Myers, which is not an easy thing to do either.
No.
I mean, it is early season for all of these guys and gals, which is different, obviously, than racing like a key A race. But
yeah, no, so true. And I think for a lot of people, it's a good fitness marker. It's a little check-in. And also, with the field getting so deep, it's a chance to see how you stack up in this competition. And I really think we saw that yesterday. You cannot look at previous course times any longer and have a sense of how your day will play out, because we are seeing course records shattered. We are seeing entire top 10 fields coming in under previous fastest times, or coming in with some of the fastest times we've ever seen in these races. And so it's exciting, and you really have to just run the race and run the field, whatever that looks like.
Yep, even if that means not. That's Jeff Colt moving up on Adam V there.
Yeah, Jeff is looking strong. I noticed he was coming through.
He's moving well.
Yeah.
Those boys went out hot. And Jeff is making moves back up through the field. He just passed Adam V. looking really, really fast. So again, now on our screen, Jeff Colt moving into 7th, overtaking Adam V just past Gloriana Mine. We do have 9th through Gloriana Mine as well. Chris Leiferman, the other triathlete in the field, the race within the race.
I know. We have podiums within podiums going on.
Yeah, we got battles they didn't know were coming. We're making it happen. So again, Jeshrin leading your men's race, chased by Brian Whitfield, Eric Lagerstrom making moves to close into 3rd, Chris Myers in 4th, Wade Hall in 5th, Kyle Fox in 6th. On your screen right now, that is Jeff Colt having just overtaken Adam V. They are sitting in 7th and 8th place overall, and then Chris Leiferman, the other triathlete in the inter-race race, sitting in 9th position. We do think that Adam Mary or Devin Sharps should be our next athletes into Gloriana Mine. And then again, they've got a little ways left to go. Gloriana Mine sits at about 24 miles into the race, and we're sitting just over 31 miles here at Deep Canyon Ranch. And it's starting to pick up here. We got volunteers showing up. We got the aid station getting set. We got Finish Lives vibes going on. We got new Starlinks and cables being dropped places.
Love to see it.
Love to see it.
Is it too early to start to make calls on who we think we're going to see through this finish shoot?
Way
first?
too early predictions.
Yes, I love those because why not? Let's go crazy.
Yeah, it's people are moving. Yeah, moving and shaking. I mean, you can see that gap that's been extended between Jeff and Adam right there. Like,
yeah,
it's one of those things.
Significant. I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like there is such a fine line now with racing. I don't know. I've been in the sport for over a decade now, and 50Ks, I feel like I used to like take my sweet time, stop in aid stations, have a smorgasbord.
No, it's a drag race now.
And now it's like F1 style. You're barely stopping. It's exciting to see. It's changed so much, and just seeing these guys approach these races, but you also have to race right next to that line of like what we see it play out now with some of these races where you can't quite hang on to the finish. And, it's a very fine line between first and not being able to hang on.
Digs are going to be thrown out of there, right? This is the point where like attacks are going to be happening out there on the trail as these guys and gals take digs, trying to break away from the field. And talking to Eric at our preview show on Friday, I was like, what are you expecting? What are you hoping to get out of this? What do you want to happen out there? And obviously he's run the 50K distance. He knows what that means. He knows what it means to race for 3.5 hours. That's something he's very familiar with. To push for that long. Normally there's a bike and a swim component to that as well, but just running today. But I think the bigger thing for him was it's a pretty good field here, and seeing where he stacks up in that group felt really important in a lot of ways, to see, okay, like these are some really talented trail athletes. Like, can I hang? Am I into this? What do I want out of this? So we'll be curious to see if Eric can continue to close that group down. That would be pretty wild. Adam Mary on our screen making his way through Gloriana Mine.
Where he was about 30 seconds really ahead of Devin. And
this aid station is like a little blessing here.
It's great, isn't it? It's fun when you're leaving, when you're kind of heading through from Bumblebee to Deep Canyon. You drive right by it and you see these runners just snaking their way down the trails. But it's also like just basically a pullout on the side of the road. So there's no stopping, no crewing, but the aid station volunteers there do have you covered, and they're ready to roll. And really just getting these guys the last like 6.5 miles from Gloriana to the finish line. Just
I think that's Matt Luongo.
10K.
I don't think the gaps are small. Gloriana Mine, Wade Hall sitting in 5th and 2th.
Is that Brett? I think that might be Brett.
Oh, is that some topical cooling by Brett Hornig?
Yeah.
That is Brett.
Like Brett. Yeah.
Brett, find the camera, Brett. know what your good angle is, Brett. Yeah, I think the distance for Brett today was going to be the biggest challenge. I just don't think he's been able to put in a 50K training block. And so he's definitely just kind of seeing what the legs have, what they have to offer.
I feel him.
I mean, very talented runner, but he's been busy with orange shoe.
Someone said in the chat yesterday he was sweat Hornig. So shout out to the tracksuit. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I got his last minute heat training in, but someone pointed out in the chat, like the gap between 5th and 9th right now between Wade Hall and Chris Leiferman at Gloriana Mine is all of about 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And so it's
anyone's
tight.
game. Yeah. Oh, and there's Max coming through.
Yep, Mac. If you are a Max fan, there he is right
Max
now
sighting.
on your screen.
Right
Tattoos
through,
ablazing.
Didn't even stop.
2 handhelds. Training run for Cocodona 250.
Yeah, no, it's, I'm really interested to see what Eric's doing up at the front here when we get another shot of these leaders, because I do believe that we're going to see some more movement and he's going to push that pace for those 2 guys up front. So no one should be getting comfortable yet. And still 10K from Gloriana to the finish. Honestly, a lot can happen. Even yesterday in the 100K, we saw a lot of movement in the last 10K. And it's just whether or not the cracks are showing.
Adam Perry says, Brett and Max, the duel of the century.
Yeah.
Was this the duel we didn't know we needed?
I know, right?
Our race?
We're here for
We've got
it.
more
Yeah.
races within the race.
All these guys with their
this is-
versatile
it's not Devin
distances
Sharp.
too. To be able to go from a 200 miler to a 50K or...
Yeah, that's Devin Sharp just left as
Was
well.
it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that was that Air Vipa race top. And the half tights.
It's exciting. We've got 12 runners,
Matt-
13 runners through the last aid station.
Yeah, so we had a little bit more than that because we also had Max
yeah,
and we
there's
had Devin
Max too.
Sharp. So
Yeah.
we've had at least, I would say, 14 or 15 men through. The man in the button down,
Yes.
who I didn't identify
gentleman.
well.
Yes.
1959, that's Matt Isan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that was not Matt Luongo. I don't think we've seen
Matt
Luongo.
Yeah. No, he's moved up. That's
Yeah.
great because he wasn't sitting that high up in the field before that. Oh, Alison Becca just went through Gloriana.
What?
That was a super fast flyby. We almost missed her, but holy crap. Alison Bob overall, she's 15th overall, first female. Alison Becca through Gloriana mine at 24 miles, heading towards the finish line. That is amazing.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the estimate to come up on hers. Oh, that coming through Gloriana mine, Brett said as he ran, quote, "Should I shoot for 1 hour to the finish? Well, maybe not."
Come on, Brett. It's mostly downhill.
Afterburners, Brett. Come on. There is a little bit of a grindy climb
I said mostly,
about 2
you
miles
know.
from here that I saw yesterday, and the rocky kind of final descent, and then you're
I wonder if we'll see any full quad cramps as people come out, they hit the contrast of the flat gravel trail and then just full leg cramps. Of you in the chat who are just joining us, welcome. We are excited to be here with you. I'm Hillary Yang, and we've got Corinne Malcolm on the mics, and we're sponsored line